Peace. What's going on, hip hop citizens?
Yo, peace to the gods, peace to the planets. What's up, Hip Hop Citizen live stream?
Yeah. We got Dialect 718 in the house and Don Juan the Mac.
That's it. What's up?
Waiting on David Simonism to come through. And Architect 7.
Architect 7, where you at, baby?
Yeah, man. What's been going on, man? I know it's been a busy week.
Busy week, super busy week. Been watching these counts come in.
Yeah.
Like constipation in the mailbox. It seems like every CNN breaking alert. We got 3 votes.
I'm just amazed that I'm looking at I finally got to understand the whole electoral college, and I'm looking at the maps with red and blue, and I'm finally getting to understand how it works. But I think for the first time we started seeing states go from red to blue. When it first started, Michigan and Wisconsin were red states. Then just out of nowhere they started turning blue, and then all of a sudden, Biden started winning those 2 states.
Yeah, those post office boxes are coming through. I think Trump's biggest failure there was he forgot to take all the mailboxes.
Yeah, man, but I mean, it's looking pretty good for Joe Biden.
Yeah, and then Trump is looking more like a lame duck.
Yeah, because I mean, right now he's the only state that Trump is really leading in right now. Of the leftover states is Alaska and North Carolina.
Yeah. And Trump can have those.
And those are not enough votes to take him over the top. Whereas Biden has a couple of options. He could win Nevada and Arizona.
And bingo.
And close that. Or he could just win Pennsylvania and just close it out that way.
Boom.
But it's looking pretty good in Biden's favor.
Yep.
So do you see the president conceding?
I do not see the president conceding, but I do see the president being taken out probably in a straitjacket.
Wow. So my question to you, how does that work? So once Biden wins a state and gets to 271st, it's pretty much out of Trump's power that he can't contest it, right?
Well, he can contest it until his money runs out. But the word is on the streets, he's having a hard time raising the legal funds to contest all these elections in all those states. That's an expensive proposition. So Trump, go ahead and concede, man, and save face and get ready to save your legal funds for your legal troubles that you got coming up. Big shout out to Jeff on the YouTube. Shout out to YouTube.
Yeah, shout out to Jeff, man. Yeah, man. So it should be interesting, man. So my question to you is, do you see them being chaos in the streets, depending on who wins?
I think what we're going to see we're going to see a few Klansmen come out and try to start and create havoc, but I think they're going to get shut down pretty quickly. I think any violence that you see is going to be very small, a small group of Trump supporters, and they may be on payroll.
Yeah, but I was watching a video of John McCain when he conceded to President Barack Obama. And, when he started his speech and he mentioned Obama's name, the crowd started to boo. And he told him to stop. You know what I'm saying? He started to give President Obama his props. And I think, Trump could ease a lot of that tension if he just gets up there and concedes and speaks highly of Biden. And just tries to promote peace and unity in the nation. But do you see Trump doing something like that if he loses?
One would think that will be wise. But to your point, Dialect, I mean, this is his last chance to save face and show some grace and dignity and concede like any other respectable poll. After all, you may need Biden to give you a presidential pardon. So save face and do something graceful. Concede, Mr. President. Lame duck president.
Wow. So you don't see Trump, if he loses, making a run for it in 2024?
No, I think that Trump's going to be bogged down with legal things, trying to justify his taxes. Look, there's a lot of crimes that Trump may have committed as president of the United States. However, those crimes you cannot prosecute the president of the United States. But guess what? You're no longer president come January, buddy. So those crimes are within, they can be prosecuted. And Trump is worried about that.
Yeah. All right. So I guess we just have to wait and see. But while we're waiting for our co-host, I guess we could just jump right into hip hop birthdays for this week.
Let's get with it.
All right.
Hip Hop Citizen live stream, everyone. Let's go.
Yeah, so the first birthday we have the Halloween birthdays. These are people that celebrated birthdays on Halloween. First birthday we have is Ad Rock from the group the Beastie Boys. Celebrated a birthday on Halloween.
You know what, Dialect? It feels great to see hip hop aging. These guys are all old, great. Look, somebody's grandfather. And this is one of the Beastie Boys members. This is kind of cool.
Yeah, like I was just watching a documentary on Souls of Mischief, and one of the cats from Far Side was saying that, you know, some of the members in Souls of Mischief got grandkids now. So it's like, you remember them, they came out as youngsters.
Right.
Like high schoolers when they did 93 to Infinity. And now, you know, I guess one member probably has a grandkid or something. So you're like, damn.
Wow.
Yeah, hip hop really is aging right now.
Hey,
so
man.
Shout out to Ad Rock.
Shout out to Ad Rock, celebration of celebrities. I like it.
Another Halloween birthday. Vanilla Ice.
Hey.
Celebrated birthday this past Saturday.
Yo, happy born to Mr. Van Winkle. Look, I had the weird distinction of running into Vanilla Ice at a gas station here in Dallas, Texas.
Okay.
And big shout out to Vanilla Ice, man. As it turns out, I didn't know it, but a lot of you out there probably did. I thought he was a Floridian. I thought the guy was from Florida. But as it turns out, as he told me, he's actually from the Dallas area. So you know, he's a Texan, and he still has roots here apparently, and he's still hanging out in Dallas every now and then. Big shout out to Vanilla Ice.
Yeah, you know, he seems like a stand-up guy. He had that one song that I liked, Ice Ice Baby.
So when
I thought it was a decent song, decent sample, lyrics was okay. You know, he had but like I said, man, the powers behind him, man, pushed him really hard, man. He had some movies coming out, soundtracks. I think he was on the Ninja Turtles movie.
Oh yeah,
and I know he had a movie called It's Cold as Ice or something like that.
As Cold as Ice, and just recently he actually made a comeback and doing a home improvement show. It's actually a great show. I actually watched the show. He's in the real estate now.
Wow. Yeah,
in
man.
Fact, I think he's quoted as saying that he's made more money doing real estate than he did in all of hip hop.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, he did get a lot of money, and what he did, I guess he invested the money, because I forgot what show he did a couple of years back, and they asked him, do you still have that money that you made? He's like, yeah, I still have it. You know, he had a short career, so he was pretty smart with his finances.
Yeah. Shout out to Rob Van Winkle.
Shout out to Rob Van Winkle. Next person celebrating a birthday, Pharaoh Monch, one half of Organized Confusion.
Wow. Yeah, he looked kind of scruffy. Almost didn't recognize him. I've always known him with that clean cut, but that one's not so clean.
Yeah, man. It's Pharaoh Monch, man, will go down in the category of lyrical powerhouse, man, because always been lyrically consistent, man, since back in the days with Organized Confusion, his solo career, the cameos that he's made on a couple of albums. You know, man, shout out to Pharaoh Monch. I think he's up there with Black Thought. You know what I'm saying? People don't give him a lot of credit that he deserves.
Yeah.
Shout out to Pharaoh Monch.
He kind of favors ASAP Ferg to me a little bit.
I don't see it. But I know his biggest hit was Simon Says. I think we talked about it last week because his album Internal Affairs has celebrated an anniversary. And, you know, that whole thing with the Godzilla sample, that was just a small part of the song that the label couldn't clear, and that could have wound up being one of their biggest money makers. But they didn't secure the sample. Word, man. Shout out to Pharaoh Monch.
Clear those samples.
Next birthday, man, we got a new cat celebrates a birthday, J.I.D. from Atlanta. He's down with J. Cole's Dreamville crew.
Okay.
Yeah, shout out to him.
I'm not as familiar with J.I.D, but yo, keep those hits coming, J.I.D. Let the old man hear about it.
Next birthday, we got Houston legend, Rap-A-Lot legend. 1/3 of the Ghetto Boys, Willie D, celebrates a birthday.
Willie D.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Willie D. I know now he's doing podcasting. He's also rapping too. He came out with a song a couple of years ago, I believe, where he was talking about coons. You know, like he did a song about sellouts. Remember, he was calling out people like Stephen A. Smith, you know, Sheriff Clark, a couple other cats. But you know, this guy, man, he had the most memorable verse on he had a cool verse on what's that song? Where Mine Is Playing Tricks on Me?
Yeah.
I make big money. I drive big cars. Everybody know me. It's like I'm a movie star, but late at night. I was like, yo, those are like some of the simplest lyrics, but his delivery just made that shit cool, man.
That truck was a monster though. That track.
And I remember in the video, he was like, "Is it that fool that I ran off the block?" And he had a dude running away from him, and that dude leaped over the fence. I like, how much money they pay that stunt double? I think that was a real person running away from him, yo. But leaped the fence because he was so scared of Willie D.
Yeah, Willie D is like a big dude, isn't
he? Yeah, man. And he had a good solo career. One of the songs I like of his is called "The Cleanup Man," where they kind of remade what's the woman's name? Betty Wright's song, "The Cleanup Woman." Yeah, man. Shout out to Willie D. Oh, next person celebrating a birthday is Nelly.
Nelly
had a pretty successful career. You know, it wasn't really like my cup of tea, man, but he had some little bangers that made you nod your head, you know, kind of like on the Flow Rider, Pitbull kind of vibe, you know, Hot in Here.
Yo, for a hip hop artist, Nelly enjoyed a pop career, and you know what I'm saying? And it's not a diss. It's not a diss. I mean, I think when you can go pop like that, I think you have an opportunity to bring a lot of people to the culture, and for that, Nelly is a winner for sure.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Nelly, man. You know, great career. I believe he dated Ashanti for a while. And most recently, he had his versus battle with Ludacris.
Yeah.
You know?
Speaking of hits and Ashanti, I think he was one of the few rappers to really drop some diamond albums. I don't know how many he had, but I know Nelly went diamond. That's 10 million sold.
Yeah, Nelly was one of those guys. Like I said, I put him in the same category as Flow Rider and Pitbull. I didn't really get it, but they had successful careers. Now, I won't even say Flow Rider, but I know Pitbull had a pretty successful career, if I'm not mistaken. Still does. Yeah. But, you know, I guess they have their fan bases, you know?
Yep, they find
Shout out to them, man. And Nelly also had an acting career, too. I know he did a couple of movies, too.
Luckily, I missed those.
Yeah, man. The late Prodigy would have celebrated a birthday this week.
Yeah, man.
Shout out to Prodigy, man. R.I.P., man.
You know what, Dad? Like, I had opportunity. I ran into Prodigy twice in my life, and it was kind of a weird distinction there. First time I remember seeing them a band in Queens, just happened to be at Coliseum Mall in Queens during the 90s after the album dropped, by the way. And I remember just standing on the corner, and I seen this at the time, it was a standard C-Class. It wasn't your top of the line Mercedes, but at the time I saw him, Havoc, Prodigy, another guy driving by in their Mercedes. I said, yo, I couldn't believe it. I was tripping, and my cousin had to slap me and say, yo, you know, chill out. You in New York, them niggas around here every day. Stop acting like that. And the second time, of course, about 20, 30 years later or so, we had the opportunity to hire Mobb Deep for a show out in Washington, D.C. They came to show a lot of love, man. Mad props to them.
Facts, man. So what's up, David Simon? You back?
Let's start the show over. Hold on. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Let's start.
Okay, let's start over, man. Welcome to HipHopCitizen. I'm your host, Dialect 718.
Dialect, you amuse me, and you coddle me. Thank you so much. No, let's continue where we were. Rest in peace to Prodigy. I believe November 1st, right? Was his birthday?
Yeah. It's I forgot the exact date, but I do know it's early. No, it was this week. He would have celebrated a birthday. Next birthday, another Queens hip hop legend. Sticky Fingers celebrates a birthday.
Look like Bokeem Woodbine. Yo, I like Sticky Fingers, man. Sticky Fingers surprised me. I mean, their style was kind of like a grimy style, but those kind of seemed a little bit intelligent to be too grimy. I mean, he had didn't he have was that him with the movie career?
Yeah, man. I think he was actually he played Blade in the TV version of the movie.
Man,
yeah, he had a good acting career. Him and Fredro Starr.
Yeah, I'm proud of those guys, and recently dropped an album with the Snow Glooms clique, and so it looks like they're still doing their music independent, man. Shout out to them.
Yeah, shout out to them, man. We got a DJ Enyoutee in the green room. About to get right to him after these birthdays. Should be a few more.
Real quick, what was Sticky Fingers' best line?
Oh, I was going to say it's a couple of them. I know. I hate your guts. I hope that you die.
That's a good one.
No, here's the other one. I know what you're talking about. It's
Was yours is mine? Was mine yours?
the joint. I know what Dave is thinking about. I feel like taking my own life, I might as well. But they might not sell weed in hell. That's where I'm going because the devil's inside of me. Maybe that one you talking about?
No,
Day?
no.
Okay.
Actually, I believe the best line came from a solo album. Oh, hold on. Is that me feeding back?
No, that's me.
Oh, his solo album where he says, I got 3 herps on my dick and 2 on my tongue.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, he had some one-liners, man. I just heard the joint they did on the first album. Well, they had the joint, sucking the, pause. And the joint when he's like, tell your girl to stop changing her lipstick, starting to get rainbows around my dick. So, he had some one-liners.
Very funny artist, as well as gangster.
Yeah, man. So shout out to Sticky Fingers. Next birthday, we got Sean Combs, aka P. Diddy, aka Puff Daddy. Celebrated a birthday this week.
They said they didn't ever want a nigga to be shining. He sure looked shining to me.
Words. Let me just run through this real quick. Next birthday, final birthday. Brownsville, Brooklyn's own Rock, one half of Helter Skelter, celebrates a birthday.
Shout out Bummy Jab.
Yeah, man. Shout out to him. Shout out to the whole D-Seps. I had the pleasure of interviewing Rock and also freestyling with him back when I did return to the Boombox Radio back in like 2008. So shout out. Was that?
That freestyling talk a little later. We're going to get to that freestyling talk a little later. Okay. I still amazed by the work you did last week.
Oh, thank you. So I'm about to bring in tonight's guest, man. It's DJ Enyoutee.
Yo.
What's going on, man?
Not much. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you loud and clear, man. Welcome to HipHopCitizen.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me on tonight.
So, Mr. Nut, introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is DJ Enyoutee. I do a radio show called No Ideas Original Radio Show on 91.3 FM in Poughkeepsie. I'm part of a group called Alpha Faction. I put out projects as well with different artists. I put out a project with like Planet Asia, Milano, Starving Bees, the recent one, The Bad Seed. I just do a bunch of hip hop shit, scratches and everything that has to do with the raw culture part of the music, Word.
So you're a producer?
Nah, I'm more of an organizer. So, say like with the Planet Asia Milano project, I know Milano, I know Planet Asia. I have a nice variety of friends that are dope producers that are unknown, but they make some real raw beats. And it's basically me just thinking about ideas, and I'll say, hey, let me get a beat from you, but I just need that one beat. I don't need 50 beats. I need the one beat. So at the same time, I'm just trying to show love to some producers that are coming up, and a lot of the artists that I pick, I believe that I like to hear them on raw beats and a different variety of beats than their usual projects and stuff that they put out, and I've been blessed that each artist has worked with me in that direction,
So being in Poughkeepsie, isn't that the epicenter of the coronavirus in New York?
Nah, I think the epicenter of the coronavirus in my area would probably be in a place called Curious Joel. Right now, Poughkeepsie is a city. So it's a nice big city. I don't know about the coronavirus up there, but I do know about it in a spot down here, which is a private community. I'll leave that at that. You know what I'm saying? We in New York, we have a certain type of thing that spreads the coronavirus more often than regulars. So yeah, private communities.
Private communities, huh?
Yeah, basically just like that. Yep. But we up here we all practice, try to be safe with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So on your radio program, who was the most famous individual you interviewed?
I gotta be honest. I've interviewed so many people that I've actually forgotten. I mean, I've done everybody from Flavor Flav to Street Life from Wu-Tang. I've had Born Unique on the show. I've had Planet Asia on the show. I've had 38 Special 7 years ago. I've had so many guests from Neat the Exotic to Rod Digger to fucking excuse my language.
It's okay.
Money Boss Players, Mayhem Loren, Smooth. We can keep going. So many of them. Evidence.
Who was the most profound you believe
that I enjoyed the most? Yeah. I had fame from MOP in studio. He came up and took time out one time and came up actually to the radio station, and we had a hell of a time, man. It was a great show, and we had a great time. Just rocking out, man. It was dope. Word.
So sorry, Diane.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. So when you had Money Boss Players on your show, did you have the entire crew, including Peter Guns, Lord Tariq as well?
No, I didn't have Tariq in them. I just had Trey Bag and Eddie Chiba.
Okay.
Yeah. So them two came up and represented for the rest of the team. Lord Tariq, we did speak about doing the show one time, but he's in a different area. So sometime, hopefully in the future, we can at least link up for maybe a phone interview. But with the COVID, I'm not allowed to have special guests at the station.
Oh, okay.
So it's been locked down. So at the same time, it's been giving me more time to focus on DJing the music. A lot of great music coming out. And I've been stepping away from the guests for about 2 or 3 months, just for a little bit, just so we can focus on the DJing aspect and the music aspect a little bit too,
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know. Okay, go ahead.
Well,
No, I was just going to ask the duration of your DJing career.
I started July 2nd, 1999 is when I got my first turntables. But I would like to be as honest as possible. I had a lot of legal troubles during and times from 1997 until 2003. I had suffered. I suffered for a while from drug addiction. So I did DJ from 99 to about 2001. And then in 2003, when I finally was finished with everything, I ended up selling my turntables, man. And I really didn't DJ. I was like borrowing people's shit to do mixtapes, like a fucking one turntable. It was crazy. But then May 9th, 2009, I had a daughter. Well, I had a daughter March 11th, 2009, but she was a premature baby. I couldn't stop. You know what I'm saying? I was caught up like crazy shit. And I mean, hard body shit. And I couldn't stop. Nothing was stopping me. Homelessness. I was living in the streets. Fucking, it was nuts. It just got bad. I was 29 years old. And I gotta tell you, man, my daughter came home on them monitors that first day from being a premature baby. And I ain't been back there since, brother. I ain't had a drink. I ain't did a motherfucking thing. And I'm gonna keep it real. I really focus on God, and I know it. I focus on the Creator for giving me a second chance, and all I can say is that it's been beneficial, and I never thought I'd be even in these positions just to be alive at this point. And yeah, what up?
You've done the programs?
I've been to programs. Yeah, I've been to jail. I've been to programs. I went to a program for a year. I did a program for a year and came home and got high the same day I came home. Like, I was fucked up, man. I was living in the streets for like 6 months, man. Word. And then like I said, I sold my turntables and all that shit. And then I'll tell you what happened, man. I got clean May 9th, 2009. 2 weeks later, I ended up catching a job at West Point. My first paycheck, Yo, no, out of nowhere, the neighbor, some fucking old man, no lie. Old white dude, don't even know who the fuck he is. He's like, listen, I got this DJ equipment sitting in my house. Do you want to buy it? And I was like, shit. I walked over there. It was 2 brand new CDJs and a mixer. I said, this couldn't have been heaven sent. You know what I'm saying? And I just kept working at it. And then we got the show. Huh? Yeah. It's a lot of shit that goes behind what I do, but I don't really try to talk too much, but you guys seem like you're listening. So, you know, yeah. You know, but it's just, trust me, there's a lot behind it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just grateful. What happened?
That was kind of a fantastic tale with the old man and everything. How much did he charge you?
$400.
Wow.
For the set?
Yeah, I got brand 2 CDJs. I think the 800s. I had one was an XL something, and it had a Vestex mixer and a coffin, and it was in a coffin. But then, you know, little by little, I kept just working hard, and I ended up, you know, my brother let me move in. I had to buy, renting, you know, getting a nice little house. Now I own a house, you know what I mean? I'm on my 3rd year owning. I got my own vehicle. I've been in business for myself now for 7 years. Besides music, I fund all my own shit, all my videos. I get all my own music, you know, all that kind of stuff like that. It's just been.
How do you walk into a job at West Point?
Now what was happening is that I have a specific trade, but I kept messing it up because I kept using narcotics. You know what I'm saying? And when I had finally got clean, man, I took that trade a little bit more serious. So I applied for a trade, but the guy that was running the crew, the work was in West Point. You know what I'm saying? So I was able to get in through that way, through a crew. And I was able to work there for about 4.5 years to really gain training and what I needed to do to make my own game tight. You know what I'm saying? I was all off everything. I was sharp. I was paying attention. I was learning, you know, I taking information in properly, you know? Yeah, but, you know, we just doing with the music, man. You know, I got a lot of stuff coming out and, you know, just living good, you know, trying to live right.
Yeah, man. And I see from your bio that you do some prison outreach. Is that something you do live on the air too?
Yeah, we do a lot with the prisons, man. I'm a big dude about radio shows behind the wall because I know what it's like to seek hip hop in positions where you're unable to, you know, get it. And, you know, first it started off with people just writing us at the radio station. Then we started, you know, in the early years, I used to go to a lot of people didn't even have visits. I would just pop up there. They'd be writing a radio show. I'd have their numbers. I have their names. I'd check them out, make sure they weren't no fucking weirdos. And I would go up there and I would just pop up and visit them once. You know what I'm saying? And I still do it. I was recently up there maybe 2 months ago at Green Haven visiting somebody that had been supporting the show. You know, a lot of people write. I'm in communication with people that come home. I got a guy I talk to at least once a week. He did 24 years for a crime he never even committed. You know what I'm saying? I was able to link up with people like Rap from the Paid in Full posse. You know what I'm saying? The OG Rap from you know, because of this whole situation. I've been linking up with people that come home on a regular basis, and I try to show them that, you know, but I don't be bullshitting them. And it ain't easy out here. You know, they got these fairy tales when you locked up that, you know, life is sweet and it's going to be easy and it's going to be open arms out here. And it's not like that all the time. So yeah. Sometimes people need to hear something positive, you know, and I'm always.
It's very difficult within the system. Restoration is very difficult within the system.
Yeah.
One question. What would you consider a weirdo and you would not consider visiting?
Somebody that has anything to do with any kind of child abuse. I don't fuck with shit like that. I don't rock. I don't want to say too much though. You know what I'm saying? That's my own personal shit like that. We don't, because you got to remember, you don't know who you getting writing you. You know what I'm saying? They got these numbers for a reason, you know? So you could get some dude is in there for doing some, and ain't trying to show love to nobody that's doing no foul shit. I operate in natural law, so that shit doesn't work with me. It doesn't work with my energy. You know what I'm saying? So I have to stay on point with stuff like that. I hope that doesn't, make a difference in the show.
No, in me or the show, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I do also have another question. When you mentioned the guy that you say was falsely accused of falsely convicted, has he been released?
Yes, he has been released. He's doing very well. He is going to try to get that off. He's been doing some work with ABC, Channel 7, and he's been doing a lot of positive things, and he became a good counselor. And he's a great friend of mine, and I deal with a lot of them. It's not just him. I deal with, a lot of guys that come home, that did their time, they did their crime, they did their time, and they look towards me to, just give them some positive advice sometimes. And I'm not the one to always give them. I'm not no fucking preacher, but I'll tell them how it is. You know what I'm saying? I tell them from experience. But I never talk out of my ass. I'll never say something about something I don't know about, and I'll never put another person down. You know what I'm saying?
Curious on one thing. Did the gentleman that served those 24 years wrongly convicted, has he received a settlement from the state?
Nah, I think he's in the process of working on that though. Stuff like that takes a while. He got released about 2.5 years now. You know what I'm saying? And the way the system just got backed up with this COVID situation in New York State. I don't know where you guys are broadcasting from, but in New York State, the whole court system and everything has just been pushed back. It's just been screwed up. So, when it comes to stuff like that, they're never in a rush to try to get that kind of stuff taken care of. You know how that works. You know. So, but we gonna wish him the best on that, and that he finds a peace of mind as well. He's doing real well. Since he's been out, he's doing real well. I'm very happy for him. Very happy for him. Okay. Shout out to my man 44 Mag. Word.
That's a total blessing there. I was just going to ask you about the music. I know you do a lot of, like you said, you don't forget about the people behind the wall. Do you, with the sound coming out of Griselda music, your Conways, your West Side Gun, find that those who have some background or experience behind bars put out better hip hop music or rap music?
Nah, I want to say that people put out better rap music just because they did jail time. I think better rap music comes from experience and people speaking the truth about what they've experienced and how they felt. I think that's where you're going to find your best rap music. You know what I mean? But, Griselda in that kind of movement, I do understand, it's like anything else, this, you can like stuff or you don't like stuff. It's people's choices on what they do. I play their music, some of their stuff is for me, some of it isn't, but the one thing I can say about that camp is that, they broke through and they doing their thing. That's that, and a lot of people behind the wall rock with that kind of shit. You know what I mean? But I also like my MOP. You know what I'm saying? I still like new upcoming artists. Noah the Flood. You know what I'm saying? I like different artists. I like a variety of hip hop. It ain't always shoot 'em up, bang bang shit. It just got to be mind stimulating. I don't like that over the top backpack rap shit either though. I don't like with all the fucking 1,000 punchlines and the motherfucker got 10 bars before it comes back to the rap, and that shit don't really intrigue me, but
yeah, I know you mentioned earlier, going back to you talking about interviewing visiting guys in prison, and you mentioned that you met with somebody from the Paid in Full posse, and if I'm not mistaken, that was the crew that Eric B ran with.
Yes.
So did you get any good hip hop stories from that individual? Like from back then?
Well, the reason why I met Rap is because this is how the penitentiary system worked, and plus the raw hip hop and the state of mind. I was able to form a friendship with Bumpy Knuckles, Freddie Fox, and for those that don't know, Rap had served 32 years. Rap served 32 years, but he came home, I believe, in 2017. So when Freddie Fox, now one of Freddie Fox's best friends as a child, got locked down in 1991. His name was VIC. VIC was in Greenhaven listening to the show. I used to visit VIC periodically. Fox, he created a segment on my show called Penitentiary Mail, where he actually comes up to Poughkeepsie and he DJs live. You know what I'm saying? We try to do that at least once a year, but this year was rough because of the COVID, obviously, and then the quarantining with the states. And the last time he came up, he brought Rap with him. And, you know, Rap was like the leader with the original 50 Cent, Killer Ben, Rakim. So it's like you get to hear all the stories about how, like, I understand what you're saying about hip hop stories, but you get to start to hear some of how the beginnings of things happened. You know what I mean? Like, it was pretty cool, man. I don't want to put too much out there, but to hear how, you know, it all formed, you know, and how everybody was linked in together. And although one was from Long Island and they was from Fort Greene, and everybody kind of stuck together even until the time when Rap came home, and then they did the Paid in Full reunion. You know, it was, and then he passed away this year too. He passed away, I believe, from the COVID. So at the same time, it was like God sent at that, you know what I mean, for him to be up there. He enjoyed himself. He was actually like my co-host that night. So Fox was DJing and I was just co-hosting with Rap. You know what I'm saying? It was cool. It was cool.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
So do you rap?
Do I rap?
Yes.
No, I don't rap. No. I've been putting these projects together, like picking original production, doing the scratches, doing the mixes, you know, executive producing them. So like I said, I did one with Planet Asia Milano. Then I did one with Starvin' B. I did one with a kid named The Bad Seed. I got one coming out with a kid named Zagnif Nori. Then I got another one coming out with I don't know if you guys are familiar with Carlton Fisk. Carlton Fisk was on Meth's first album, but like he always get caught up in, you know, he'd be locked up a lot, so you don't really get a chance to. He never really got a chance to put together a project, and through the penitentiary system, my man London, he linked me with Carlton, and he came up here. We recorded a real raw hip hop album, and that I got something coming out with Skanks, the Rap Martyr from Bangkok fam. I got another small project coming out with Innocent. But my main thing that I'm working on right now is a compilation. A major producer, I can't really say it right now because we're trying to keep it under wraps. He had seen what I was doing, like, you know, with these little projects, and he allowed me to get a bunch of his beats, and I'm allowed to pick the artist and do the scratches. So right now we're about 5 songs in, and I got The Last Emperor, you know what I'm saying? I got The Last Emperor solo joint. I got the Booze Brothers on there. It's gonna be crazy, man. I talked to Teflon today. We gonna rock something. I'm gonna put together a real raw album with a very dominant producer. And I picked all the beats, and all them shits got drums. All that shit knocks. The diversity is crazy. Just looking forward to the future, man, and just kind of just staying away from the weirdo shit that goes on, like the weird stuff that happens in the game, and just kind of just rock, you know, and just rock regular how it was supposed to be, how we all came into it.
Yeah. So when you say Last Emperor, you talking about Last Emperor from Philly? That was Aftermath back in the day.
Yeah, I actually got a solo track with him, but actually we're gonna try to put J. Rooted Damager on the hook. We don't know if that's final yet though, so I don't want to. But I'm giving you guys a little insight of what it is. But I got more people on there than that, but I just don't want to say too much. But it's gonna be a crazy compilation. I promise you.
Okay, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. So.
Okay, how was it working with Carlton Fisk? I know he was I remember him from the Tikal album. He did a song called Sandman. I think recently I saw him on a joint with Capadonna and JoJo Pellegrino.
Yeah,
And he still had the same skill level. So how was it working with him?
It was great. It was great to work with him because he was always one of my favorite artists that, before I was a DJ, I really respected his lyricism. And you would hear him periodically here and there, and he just never got enough of him. So like when I got him, he came up to the crib a few times and we got to chill for the weekend, and we really laid down some raw tracks, So it was it was a good experience to work with him. Real great guy too. Great friend, loyal. So
if I was to ask you for your top 5 MCs, who would they be?
Off the top, I can't say a top 5, but I'll tell you some guys that I think that rip every verse. I think Tame One from the Artifacts. Tame One is one of my favorite rappers. Rockness Monster is one of my favorite rappers. I think he rips a lot of everything he gets on. Bumpy Knuckles is definitely one of my favorite rappers. Planet Asia is dope. Milano Constantine is dope. There's a lot of great rappers out there, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just look at consistency, though. I like, I know people had their time where they shine, but right now there's people that are, have been very consistent for the longevity of their careers. So that's something to look at,
You don't find that there's artists from the South or the West or even the Midwest who are just as consistent or who have lyric skills as well?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm a big West Coast. I love West Coast. I love West Coast music. I love it. I'm not like crazy into like the deep West groups, but you gotta respect all the artists from out there in the West. I don't care who it is, whether it's Spice One, whether it's motherfucking MC Ren, Too Short, any Snoop, any of them. Them dudes out there is this. I love my West Coast music. I love it. Yeah.
I recognize I'm outnumbered by New Yorkers here. Both Dialect, yourself, and even David Simons. You guys are New York dudes all the way, 100. I can hear it in your voice.
Yeah.
My question to you, do New York artists, you just named top 5 in your top 5. You don't like to name top 5s. Dialect doesn't either. But you name New York MCs. They're all New York MCs. Do New York MCs respect those MCs that are not from New York? And if so, can you name a couple of them? I know you mentioned Spice One out of the West Coast, but what about the South? Do you like the new artists?
The South, I would go with, obviously the obvious would be like Scarface and stuff like that. The South wasn't, by the time the South really, I wasn't into the underground South. So that's my honest thing. So I would know Scarface. But by the time like the South really started blowing up, I had found myself really intrigued in New York underground. The South artists, though, anything that's bringing their own style and bringing lyrics and bringing out the streets or whatever it is, man, I'm with it. I don't give a fuck where it's from. I don't care. I have respect for everybody, and I think everybody has respect. I think, like you said, New York MCs definitely respect those West Coast MCs, especially them OGs, and it's you have to. If you don't, then you're not living right. You're living in a hateful life. You know what I'm saying? If you can't respect people's hard work after they've been in some shit for 30 years, then you ain't living right. I don't give a fuck if it's your worst enemy. You gotta respect it. You gotta.
Facts. Like I always, I'm sorry, Dave. I always tell Don Juan, like, it wasn't that New York MCs never had respect for artists outside of New York City. I think it was more of a label thing and radio programmers, program director kind of thing. But they always said in New York, man, if your pen game was strong and you made good music, New York always showed those type of MCs love. Like Cypress Hill, for instance, because the East Coast showed them more love than they did in their own hometown. So New York always showed love to out of towners once their pen game was on point.
Yeah, it's just something that they the media brought into separation. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We all know that. We all know how it went down and how they made it separate because before they could make $1 off it, they were trying to make it illegal. You know, a lot of people forget about that shit. They were trying to ban rap in the early 90s. They were, you know, a lot of people forgot about that whole struggle that to even keep rap music alive during them days, you know?
Dolores Tucker.
Huh?
Dolores Tucker, the Gores. I remember
all that shit. I'm telling you, man. And then once they found out they can make that money, boy, that shit just changed everything. You hear motherfucking car commercials. You got the little white girl on the motherfucking TV show rapping now, and this motherfucking this shit and that good, and it's just like it's so fucking infiltrated. You know, whatever it is, the hip hop culture. You know, we just be ourselves. That's all.
Yeah, but being from Poughkeepsie, I know we consider that upstate. How do you feel about the rise of like the upstate MCs, man, finally getting love, like Griselda's 38 Special with his Trust Crew and Ito and those cats? How do you feel about upstate MCs finally getting their recognition?
I'm actually from Middletown. My radio station is in Poughkeepsie, but to answer the question, congratulations to them. You know, that's all I can really say. Like I said, it was hard for artists to really break through like this. In this day and time, so many artists for so many years, you really haven't seen anybody break through, and much success to 38 Special. And you know, Special, like I said, Special came to the show early, you know, prior to all this, you know, recent success, you know, the upstate movement, you know, it's good. You know, I'm good for any hip hop movement, you know, no matter where it's from. So, you know, I rock with everybody. I rock with the West Coast. I rock with it. You know, hip hop is a universal thing. As long as the beats are right and the lyrics is right, that's all that really matters to me, you know. So you ain't never gonna hear me down another man, even if he's my enemy. I'll never put another motherfucker down. Not verbally in that kind of manner. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'll never put a motherfucker down. You'll never hear me say that. I'll always try to inspire and make somebody better if I can, if it's in my nature, if it's in my path. So
yeah, you kind of mentioned that, you know, part of your inspiration is drawn from the fact that you two at one point experienced some incarceration. What can the hip hop community do to show their support or help those behind bars with respect to hip hop?
To be honest, you got very few people. You hear a lot of talk of it. I'm going to be honest because I deal with these people. I visit these people. I have the proof. I have the letters. I have the phone calls. I have their family members involved in my life. And you have very few people that are supporting their people behind the wall. There's very limited, you know, behind the wall, everything is limited. You're not, you know, obviously you can't just go there and have a concert. You know, I'm sure people would probably do that, but
how do you get access to music? How did they get access to the music?
Well, right now they got something. They all got tablets.
Oh wow!
Yeah, in New York. So what it is, they have a kiosk and they have something that's called J.Pay, but the J.Pay only hosts clean music. So right now they're able to access more of the artists, so they're able to listen to my show. I'll give them a playlist and they'll search that artist. So if I'm playing Rock Marciano or if I'm playing whatever I'm playing, you know what I'm saying? Whether I'm playing Dirt Platoon or some motherfucking whatever it is, you know, they'll go and they're able to search artists and get, you know, the kiosk has a limited amount of music though. So
interesting. Yeah, I've done the JPEG before. I've sent images, you know, and text and things that they through JPEG. Yep.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely stay in contact, be up there, JPay, letters, you know, and try to show my support the best way I can. So, you know.
How's your daughter doing?
My daughter's good. My daughter's getting big. Yeah, getting to that age, brother.
Is she into hip hop?
Yeah, she likes some music that I don't really care for.
Okay.
So Southern music, Southern rap?
Not even. Not Southern rap. Not at all. Nah, I don't mind Southern rap. I don't mind it. Not really with the There's some just certain names. I don't want to say people's names. It's not really my speed. It's not really my speed though, you know?
That's what's up.
Yeah.
So, not to pry, but what was the most bizarre letter that you received from someone in the penitentiary?
I mean, I don't really get bizarre letters. I've gotten letters where it's like, I mean, they be having some shit, man. I mean, a lot of shit goes on the inside, so they be having me, you know, trying to dictate some of the stuff that's happening on the inside and funnel it through the radio show. But that's not my position. They have another show on my station that handles those types of situations, maybe treatment of the prisoners. So I ended up referring, but I mean, the craziest shit that's happened to me is like some guy sent me like an order form and was like, yo, can you please buy me this, like fucking $500 worth of shit. But besides that, it's mostly just love. Every letter is love. There's nothing bizarre, nothing, you know, drawings. It's always love. It's always, yo, this track. They be hearing every lyric. They remember lyrics. They remember the song. They pay attention to the guests that we have, and they, you know, they break down the show and they, you know, talk about the yard or whatever it is. It's always something. So,
are you concerned with a stalker of some sort coming to find you?
Nah, I be having them at my house. They come and stay at my house. My man came home from 12 years on a Thursday. He was staying at my house by Saturday. I didn't even meet him. I never even knew him. I never met him in jail or nothing.
Wow. So, do you also get female listeners from the correctional facilities too?
Not from the. I don't know. I've never had a female letter. No.
Okay.
No. I talked to 3 people and no females are out there jails. So, yeah. And up there, we just go in live. It's just a regular radio show. 2 turntables and a mixer. We go on at 11 o'clock. Mad exclusive shit. And then we just rock, you know.
So we're not taking you out of your element, right? It's 11 o'clock, not the same time as ours. Or 11 o'clock weekday?
Nah, I'm Saturday night. So tomorrow night I'll be on. Usually I'm 12 to 3, but with the COVID, I'm able to get in there a little bit earlier and get out a little bit earlier. So if I can get in there from 11 to 2, that's a lot better for me because I gotta drive up there. So
yeah, I maybe I missed it, but how did you go from being homeless to working on radio? I mean, there's a big step there, right?
Well, yeah, it was a process. Like I said, I was homeless. I was sleeping at the end of you want me to tell you what it is? You want me to tell you what it is I'll tell you how it is.
Well, how did you get on the radio? I mean, how did you get?
It's a long story. It ain't like I went from homeless and all of a sudden I was on the radio. I kept building and I was living in a more positive mind state and ran into somebody that had mentioned it. So they had said that, you know, I had another partner at the time that put the application in and then we went for the interview, you know, so that's how we got on the radio. But, you know, everybody kind of did their own thing. I just kept sticking with it because I knew it was keeping me, you know, keeping me straight and it was keeping me happy. So
you're saying you had skills even as a homeless person, you was with skills, I guess, with it.
Well, I always had hip hop in my heart. I just didn't have equipment or a house or anything of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
I was inspired to give me 2 turntables. That's why I was asking. Like, hold up, how did you just pick it up and got into it and it's become you?
Nah, I lost a lot. I lost a lot of respect from my family. Like I said, I sold my turntables. I lost a lot with the struggle out there when it came with that shit. Yeah. I didn't end up really down until like from like the end of 2007 to like May 9th, 2009 was like, that was like the real bad years when it came to it.
Your name is Enyoutee. If I can spell correctly, that's Nut, although it's spelled differently. Why are you DJ Nut? How did you get the name?
Well, I didn't want to use the name DJ Nut. I didn't like that name. It just sounds funny, DJ Nut. And then my name is Nut from, prior from since I was a kid. So my man was a graffiti artist, and graffiti artists always adding extra shit and doing all types of extra shit. And he did it one day. He's like, yo, I'm gonna spell your name out. This shit look. And then I just was like, yo, fuck it. I'll use it as my DJ name. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of encoded, and it's kind of has my name in it. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of swift. I thought it was pretty cool. Word.
Nice play.
Yeah. Simple shit. So.
Cool. And the name of your radio show, No Idea, is original. Did you get that from the Nas song off the Lost Tapes?
I'll be honest with you, I didn't pick that name, but that's where he got the original person, the person that applied for the show. Yes, he got it from the Nas song. Yes.
Okay, it's a dope name. I like it.
Yeah.
Who taught you how to mix?
I never DJ'd next to another DJ. I saw somebody DJ one time I was going away. In 1998, I seen somebody DJ one time live in a basement for 6 hours straight, mixing and doing doubles. And ever since then, I've never DJ'd with another DJ. Nobody's ever taught me anything. I learned everything myself, and I learned how to mix, scratch, and I do everything myself. You know what I'm saying? DJ wise,
That's what's up.
Yeah, so.
Mr. Enyoutee,
Yeah.
you have lived a life, to say the least, my friend.
Yeah.
And you continue to associate with those that are considered less desirable. I commend you for that. As well as your sobriety. That is not easy.
Totally.
Yeah.
Second that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations too.
When are the projects coming out? Do you have anything that's coming out in the near future?
Yeah, next Friday, November 13th, I got a DJ Enyoutee presents Zag Nif Nori, and that's Blood and Iron 2. That's the EP's name. It's got 7 cuts on it with production from D Future, DLP, and Tone Spliff. A couple other producers. It got features from Carlton Fisk is actually on this project. My man King Arthur and Craze from my group Alpha Faction. So, yeah.
Okay, and it's available on all streaming sites?
Yeah, Bandcamp, Alpha Faction, Bandcamp, and then all the streaming places that they be having. So, and then after that, man, it's just we're gonna be dropping probably like every 2 months. I don't want to go too crazy, so just give it a little time to breathe. I got the radio show in between, so that shit keeps me afloat. So I ain't gotta be fucking jamming shit down people's throat all the fucking time either. So
you don't play no popular music from 11 to 2?
What do you mean popular wise though? I'm
talking about chart toppers.
Nah, I don't. I'm not. You know what it is? I don't really come across that kind of stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just not in my path. It's just never. I don't see it. You know, I'll fuck with some Chic. Listen and shit like that. You know, I played some Chic and Little Fame last week. Yeah, so
that's what's up. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I gotta be having a lot of exclusives and like, you know, just working, just staying private. You know, everything's going on right now. But one thing I'll say is this: is that I'm most grateful that you guys took the time out tonight to have me on here. I didn't expect this and even be talking about this scenario. I hope I didn't go overboard with some of the shit that I was speaking.
Oh, absolutely not.
Not at all.
Yeah, because you know, some people might be like, "What the fuck?" You know, you know what I mean? Like I'm just telling you what it is. So you know, I apologize if you didn't want to hear that story, but that's what it is. And you know, HipHopCitizen, I appreciate you guys having me on. You know,
you're a welcome voice, and like I said, that's the thing, man. You know, 80,000 people out here that you're speaking to. I'm pretty sure that there's a couple out there who needed to hear that message. There's someone out there that needed to hear that, and we certainly appreciate that and glad to bring it to them.
Well, yeah. If the listeners are hip hop fans like me, just like the two names you mentioned, The Last Emperor and Carlton Fisk, like, you know, I'm a big hip hop fan, and those are like two names that I remembered, and I always wanted to know what they're doing now. So just to know that you're bringing those cats out with mixtapes, I'm definitely like looking forward to checking those out. So that's cool.
Yeah, now they're actual like projects, they're actual albums. And if you want, send me your email and I'll send you exclusives. As long as you can keep them for yourself and never let nobody get them. I'll send you a few Carlton Fish tracks and shit like that. I got you. Yeah, it's not a problem. So you can see what we working with, Word.
All right, man.
Now you're gonna let
me in particular, I'm all for the life story. And you presented yourself in a great manner and beautiful story. We have not many life altering stories like hip hop has changed or helped someone propel from their depths of the destructive behavior that you mentioned earlier. So I think that's the phenomenal thing that you brought to us tonight, and that's a real life character story. And I appreciate your honesty.
Yeah, thank you. And I got to tell you, man, that was my only thing that was keeping me alive, man, was that thought that I would be where I am today, man. A DJ, a father, a good son, a good friend, trustworthy. That hip hop was the one thing, because I didn't think I could be any of those. And the music was my passion that I said to myself, I got to make it because I got a purpose. So, and every day we keep working towards it. It's not easy to stay on it. You could easily be looking for the fast way in, but it ain't gonna be built to last. It won't last. You go in the fast way, the easy way, it will not last. I'm telling you, we're trying to have some longevity. So,
well, I'd like to thank you, Mr. Enyoutee.
Yeah, thank you, brother. I appreciate you.
And I appreciate you, and look forward to seeing you again in the future and hearing the project.
Yeah, definitely.
So great to have you, bro.
Put out.
Yeah. Much respect, man. Thank you, HipHopCitizen. Thank you for having me tonight.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
DJ Enyoutee. That's what's up right there.
Yep. Salute, brother.
Absolutely.
God bless.
All right. Peace.
Thank you. Yeah. DJ Enyoutee. I think, you know what, Dialect and David? I think we forgot to level set that for those of us, those of us not from New York like myself. Poughkeepsie, what's the name of that town you called it?
He is. The radio show was in Poughkeepsie, but I forgot where he said he was from.
He said Middletown.
Middletown, right?
Is Middletown a town in New York?
Yeah, but like I was trying to explain, like, people like Dave and I, we always consider, there's Long Island, anything going towards the Westchester way, we consider upstate, even though it's not that far.
New York is 5 boroughs.
Yeah, New York City. But then when you get towards Long Island, that's like that's a different part. Then Westchester, that's when you start getting upstate. So I always know places like Poughkeepsie where you got to take the Amtrak. We always consider that upstate. So that's what I meant when I said upstate. But like Yonkers will probably be considered upstate, but it's so close to the Bronx that it might get a pass.
I think Yonkers is like Westchester.
And Mount Vernon as well too.
Right.
Yeah, that's close to the city, but we still consider that, upstate.
Yeah, Albany is really upstate, and it's nowhere near the 5 boroughs, and it's not respected. Let's continue.
No, but it was, like I said, great story, man. I think, as far as me being a hip hop fan, like he interviewed and worked with a lot of heavyweights, man, especially people that have been out, like Last Emperor. You guys may not know him. He had a song called Secret Wars that was pretty big in the underground, where it was like he had rappers versus comic book characters. And he was doing impersonation of the rappers, battling the comic book characters. It was so big that Dr. Dre signed him as one of his first artists, along with Eva Destruction from Philadelphia, who we all know as Eve. And, I think both of those deals fell through, and he wound up just going with Eminem. But, this guy was a pretty big MC, and I haven't heard about him for like 20-something years, so it's good to know that he's still putting out music. And Carlton Fisk, he was on the first Method Man album. He was featured on a couple of songs. And we didn't hear from him in a while, and coming to find out he got locked up. But it's good to know that DJ Enyoutee is resurrecting those careers, man. So I'm definitely gonna pay attention to his work.
That's what's up.
And if you're, ever incarcerated, look up DJ Enyoutee. He's seems like a great corresponder, and as well as he's helping in the restoration of convicted felons. And that you must commend him for as well. Not many people want to deal with those that have been incarcerated. They say that institutionalized, you become somewhat of unpredictable in your behavior. So he's being very wise in his risk taking, and I hope that nothing ever goes wrong with that, because that sounds like a great thing.
It's funny. It's like what he mentioned was like the most craziest letter he have is like kind of like when he's like somebody gave him a list of stuff for $500. I said that's like some of the things that happen when you try to be nice to people. It's like $500 worth of stuff. I mean, like
and not even a woman. If a woman sends you a wish list, you can understand it.
Yeah, with some pictures or something, to accompany it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, $500 worth of stuff, man. I mean, come on, like not even $10. Like put some money on my books.
Underwears are not cheap, dialect. Underwears are not cheap. That's like $30 alone.
Yeah, and Don Juan, I think he thought he said JPEG. I think he said JPay.
Yeah, JPay. Yeah. I use JPay. I communicate with my brothers behind the bars with JPay.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying JPEG because I thought you meant the images. I was like, okay, is Juan talking about JPEGs?
No. Well, a lot. Well, saying what some of the weird requests I get through JPay is, hey Juan, I need pictures of some women. Send me some pictures. Send it to JPay.
So you send JPEGs on JPay?
Yeah. Well, you can send a JPEG on JPay. You can send the images, but I didn't know that they screened them, because now I'm thinking like, did they go through now? so yeah, I didn't know that part. That I knew that they screened the messages and stuff, but I didn't know that like what certain type of music they were screening and say, oh, this is good. This is I didn't know they went that far with the music.
Yeah.
So you only correspond with convicts in Texas?
No. In fact, my homies are out there in the DC area, and I communicate to them through the JPay text. They have a text. You can leave a short video, and he's like, yo, I just need need to see women. He wants images of women. Get him images of women and send it to him.
Very nice. Very nice. And I know that the prisons have internet. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was really happy to hear that, man, because I know that's good for them, man.
Yes. Well, you gotta pay for it. You gotta put. It's like putting money on the books. You gotta put it's a twofold. One, you gotta put money on their JPay account, and then it's like every time they look at it or something, they get charged for it. So it's an account with limited funds, and each time they look at it or use it, it's a cost involved. It's like a quarter or something.
Yeah. So Dave, when we opened up the show, we talked about it's been a crazy week with the election. We just wanted to get your thoughts real quick on what you think is going on with that.
Well, your neck of the woods is interesting, dialect, and that is GA. Stacey Abrams was able to galvanize the community for, I think they're saying, close to 500,000 people voted on her initiative alone, and also may have transferred Georgia as a red state to a blue state. I don't know, the final numbers hasn't come in yet, but that would be an interesting thing. That would say that the community recognized that she might have been jarred out of being governor. I believe she ran for, right?
Yeah, governor.
Georgia. Yes. So, it was a little skepticism in her election. I don't know, what do they call it? The final tally, the final vote count. Yeah. And then 2 years later, they were able to maybe redeem Georgia's soul and allowing this Joe Biden to win that state, which would be tremendous. North Carolina is sticking to their guns. I commend them, literally and figuratively.
I was actually watching a friend of mine on Facebook who lives in Georgia, and she commented, "Yeah, what all you Georgians have to say about us out of towners moving into Georgia now? How you like it now? Because it's like so much people from California, New York, Detroit, all these people that come from blue cities moving into Georgia. I think that had a lot to do with it too.
Absolutely. I am a little shocked at the Latino vote for Donald. I am extraordinarily shocked by that.
And where? In Georgia?
No, Florida.
Oh, the Cubans.
Yes. And they were interviewed, and all they talked about is how America is heading to socialism. I don't see no socialism happening to America.
If you want to scare a Cuban, mention the word socialism, and they'll run against it. So that's all it is, the fear mongering. They use the word socialism. That's all they heard. They say, I'm not voting for Fidel. And that's all
Yeah, that's what I think. I think too with Cubans, because America kind of gave them asylum. Those that wanted to flee communism, I think out of loyalty, they always vote. You know what I'm saying? Red. They always vote for Republicans.
They're conservative, and they also feel that that the Republicans will always be for corporate America, which they are. But the part about it is that corporate America doesn't benefit the working class citizen. And I don't know too many Cubans that are not working class. But
and people need to understand that there's corporate welfare. I know you think that welfare is just for the poor Black people, but most white people use welfare. And if you're Republican, the corporations are getting welfare. These tax breaks is a corporate welfare. These stimulus checks that they're receiving is corporate welfare. You're supporting welfare by supporting these red states.
Yeah, I think they debunked that whole myth a long time ago when people try to make it seem like the image of a welfare queen was a Black woman from the inner city that lives like in the projects. But they said actually the biggest beneficiary of welfare was white women. I think when they did that a couple of years back.
The biggest welfare states are Kentucky, Alabama, Arkansas,
West Virginia.
Most of those backwards coal flying country states are the biggest welfare. What do you call those? Recipients.
Yeah. And in fact, you can go back to the Kennedy days. It was President Kennedy who was out in the mountains of West Virginia, and for the first time in his shelter life, he saw poverty-stricken white people, and instead hooked up the welfare system to assist. And again, it wasn't really for poor Black Americans. It was actually for the poor white Americans.
Yeah, and the thing is, those places are the places that support the Republicans the most. Those are like the strongholds for Republicans. Yeah,
and they're losing their guns of all things.
That's my point. How was Donald Trump able to garner 66 million people to agree with anything that he's done the last 4 years? They are culpable and complicit to everything that he's done.
I think it is, to be honest with you, I just think they like what he says. You know what I'm saying? He says what some people think in private, I think. And
a lot.
That's why I think they like him. That's why I think he was voted in 4 years ago.
Yeah, they call it Trump supporters. That's scary to me. I mean, you hear all this rhetoric going on, and then you got those people who are like, I don't care. I'm still supporting him. He's still my guy. And that's kind of creepy.
Yeah, like me, like I said, I'm nonpartisan, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I like to listen to both candidates. And like I said, I just, at the end of the day, I made my decision. But I just think they got people that are loyal Democrats. Even if a Democrat says to them, listen, if you don't vote for me, you ain't Black. They'll still be like, well, we got to get Trump out. You know what I'm saying? And if Trump says, hey, my dad said he doesn't want to rent to a certain ethnicity, they'll say, but he's still our president. We need to respect him. And people are just loyal Democrats and Republicans. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of what their candidate does.
Listen, Biden would have had to whip a Black person with a bullwhip in the middle of for Black people not to have voted for him to get Trump out of office. That's the bottom line.
Listen, I felt insulted when I saw Hillary Clinton put out some hot sauce on the Breakfast Club. You know what I'm saying? I was like, what's going on? Like, that's what she has to do to get our vote? Like, I was insulted. You know what I'm saying? And when Biden said what he said, if you don't vote for me, you ain't Black, I was like, whoa. So you can't vote Republican and not be Black?
Well, I thought it was Charlemagne. I didn't think that was a drop.
Oh, yeah, but come on, man.
He was
the blackest guy on that whole interview. So that was
Trump's behavior is what got him to the position where nobody wanted to hear what he had to say outside of his base. And if he would have pretended to sort of be presidential and certain events, the one with the Virginia incident, he should have been presidential and been like, I denounced the behavior or whatever have you. He didn't. But when it came to the assassination of that second general in Iran, and nobody knew that was going to happen. Nobody knew that he was a threat. And he did that. That was another unpresidential move because, everybody's questioning what was he doing. And that's not good.
Yeah. Hey, you know what, Dave? The other thing is that it's not too late for the president to be presidential. You lost, Mr. President. Concede. That could be the last presidential act that you can do is concede and unite the nation.
Yeah, coming when like I mentioned earlier, when John McCain had his speech when he conceded to President Obama, it was a great speech. You know, like I said, everybody started booing him when he mentioned Obama's name, and he told him, "Look, don't do that." He's like, "Yo, listen, you got to respect the guy." You know what I'm saying? He fought a tough fight, and I'm here to help him. And you could respect a person like that. That's why I said I'm nonpartisan, because it depends on the candidate. But I don't think anything about Donald Trump was a politician like. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, now he's saying I think they may have to drag him out of there if he loses. You know, that's what it's looking like.
No, they trick him out. They tell him there's a party or something going on in that Florida place that he loves. What is it called?
Mar-a-Lago.
Mar-a-Lago. He'll get down to Mar-a-Lago. They just change the locks for the White House.
Hey, I think it's gonna be. You're funny. You're right, Dave. I think it's the other thing too. He's gonna wake up one morning and no one's gonna answer that call. No one's gonna want to stand behind him when the cameras come on. He's gonna wake up one day and it'll be an empty hallway and no one's there.
Do you think he's gonna call Joe Biden Sleepy Joe in his concession speech?
No, he's gonna be right, because as a president, he has to show up to these events with these people. You understand? The Barack Obamas, the George Bush Jr., the Bill Clinton. So, you know, he's not going to want these people to say he can't show up to the events that the presidents have to appear to. He wants to be recognized as a president, even though it's going to be difficult for them to do. But he's going to be cordial because he would like them to do the same.
And he also going to need Biden for a presidential pardon.
So what? He can't pardon himself before he leaves?
Absolutely not. Got to get convicted first. He can't convict the U.S. president.
Right.
I don't see anything happening to Donald Trump though when he gets out. I think he's just gonna run his businesses and try to, believe it or not, try to run in 2024.
Yeah, I can't believe he's trying to do that. That's some Nixon stuff there.
Well, he's announced that he's planning to run in 2024.
If he loses, he will contemplate running in 2024.
First I'm hearing that. That's funny.
Yeah. And you know what the difficult part would be? Winning the Republican nomination again.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that. I was going to say, like, you know, a lot of people will probably blame, if Donald Trump loses, they'll probably blame minorities for not voting. But if you think about it, we're just a small percentage of the vote. So I think some people from his own base flipped. I think that's what brought him down. It's probably the people from his former, like, people that voted Republican. Because if you think about it, you look at the other elections, like the Senate and the House, there's a lot of Republican votes in certain areas. But in there's other areas, they're Democratic for the presidential vote. Yeah. So I think he lost a lot of Republican votes.
I kind of see it similar, but I kind of see it from the vein that, you know, all of a sudden the black vote matters and the black vote coming in really, really late. Do we normally just turn off the lights in the past elections on the black vote? Because these votes that are trickling in.
No. You don't understand what dialect is saying. Joe Biden got more votes in this election than any candidate ever.
So there's a lot of Republican votes in there.
Absolutely. And I think it came from the evangelistic community. I don't think the church is really feeling Donald Trump.
No, well, most votes, every election year is going to be the most votes, right? I mean, the country is pulling in more people.
Not necessarily, because the person that had it prior to him was Barack Obama, and we had an election in between Barack Obama's windfall and Joe Biden's.
Well, the last election, didn't Trump have the record number of votes in the last election? And then before that,
no, he lost the popular vote
tremendously.
Yeah.
Well, no, I think as far as people voting, we have more people voting this election than a previous election, but same thing and so forth. Every election, you get more people voting, right?
No, Hillary Clinton election didn't bring in as many votes as Barack Obama and Romney's election did.
I was under the impression that Trump brought in the most votes ever, and at that election with Hillary Clinton.
No. It was the same situation. He won the Electoral College. Hillary Clinton won the popular vote.
But more people voted more than ever in that election is what I was saying.
No, I think they say Joe Biden actually broke the record. He's gotten the most vote than any presidential candidate ever.
That's right. And prior to him was Barack Obama.
Oh, prior to him, I thought prior to him was actually Donald Trump. Okay, I missed something there. Okay, got it.
In fact, when Trump took office and one of Barack's many speeches during the 4 years, he had said he would have whipped Donald Trump with one hand tied behind his back with the numbers he would have been able to bring in.
Interesting. But do you think if President Obama ran against Donald Trump,
he would have been pants off? That's what he's saying. He's saying that his black vote, it's close to what Biden brought in, would have finished Donald Trump in 2016.
Okay, so question: do you think the black vote wasn't as strong for the Hillary Clinton election as it was for President Barack Obama and Joe Biden?
Unfortunately, there's a lot of sexist. There's more sexism than there is racism.
Well, we're going to find out with a VP candidate in Kamala. So,
well, we know Biden is safe. They'll hook him up to a heart machine, an oxygen, a ventilator to keep him breathing for 4 years, boy.
Biden healthy. That's the new thing now. The next 4 years, keep Biden healthy.
That's it.
Yeah.
Keep Biden alive.
So let's just run through this real quick. I just want to get through the hip hop anniversaries. So the first album we got celebrating anniversary turns 20 years old today. I mean, this week. Jay-Z's 5th album, The Dynasty, Rock La Familia.
Damn. For some reason, I feel like I thought I knew all of Jay-Z's albums. I remember this one, but I thought it was like more of a song. What was it? I don't remember this one.
Matter of fact, did this come out in this came out before the Blueprint, I think, right?
No, after the Blueprint.
Came out after the Blueprint? But I see that the release date for this one is 2000.
Oh, Blueprint is 2001. So I guess
2001 came out, I think, September 11th.
Is this when he did the movie? The Frank White.
Nah, that was all the way in 2007.
Okay, so yeah.
Yeah, I think this was the one where he had like Emil was on there.
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken, he had to join with Emilio Sparks. Give It to Me. Give me that funk, that sweet, what's that joint that Neptunes did?
Oh yeah, I believe that's on this album.
Yeah.
As well as the one where they're in the chop shop. Who's rolling with
Parking Lot Pimpin', I believe.
No. Who's hotter than us? I would have to hear it so I can bring it back.
And I think this was the joint where he had Scarface on there. Nah, I think I'm wrong.
Gotta change my name to Will Pesos. That song.
I need to look at the track listing for this one. I thought I knew this album, but apparently I don't. I know the Blueprint from cover to cover. I know that for sure.
Absolutely.
So the next album we got celebrating an anniversary. I think it also turns 20 years old this week. Was Outkast's 4th album, Stankonia. This was a pretty dope album. I believe the joints on this was Miss Jackson, Bombs Over Baghdad.
Yeah, this I don't know if it was the song or the album, but Miss Jackson just went platinum 20 years later. So
yeah, and I think, because these are one of the songs they told you if you say the hook. You remember when they was talking about you got to wash your hands for 20 seconds? And they were like, if you want to keep the 20-second time limit, they was like, recite Miss Jackson the hook 2 times. And that should be 20 seconds. So I wonder if that had anything to do with it.
Well, I missed that black meeting because I was told to sing the birthday song.
Which one is that? Oh, Happy Birthday?
Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Yeah, it was Miss Jackson. They actually did a demonstration. The lady was in there like, sorry, Miss Jackson. I am for real.
Well, you got to in Atlanta version. In Atlanta, they were saying sing Miss Jackson, and maybe up top they was Happy Birthday.
That's it.
and believe it or not, man, I was doing that stuff at work. I was humming it at the sink. I was just like, I was shook from COVID, man. I was like, I ain't getting it.
You sound like a radical singing "Sorry, Miss Jackson" while you wash your hands in the corporate world.
That's a good one, Dave. That's funny.
Next album celebrated anniversary, released in 1988. Slick Rick's The Adventure of Slick Rick debut album.
I definitely remember this one. I plagiarized Slick Rick's children's story for my 7th grade writing assignment. I actually wrote the whole damn lyrics on my paper. I had to write a story. So I wrote Slick Rick, the children's story. And my teacher came by. She says, "Oh, wow. You have quite an imagination, Juan." Slick Rick, a children's
You were a sucker since back in the day, man. Where was this, in Ohio?
Plagiarizing.
I was in Virginia at that time, and wrote I wrote a children's story for my writing assignment.
You know, it's funny, when I was in junior high school, IS 210 in Crown Heights, Brooklyn, these two kids went on stage to perform it for an assignment, and they were butchering the lyrics. And then somebody, me being the person that everybody went to memorize lyrics, I went up there and performed the entire song. And they was like, "Man, you were good." So it's like, back then, man, that was like one of the songs you had to know, man. Once upon a time, not long ago, where people.
By the way, Slick Rick is still one of my favorite rappers. I'm one of those dudes that grew up in the 80s, that came into hip hop in the 80s with Slick Rick's The Show and Dougie Fresh. And so I've always been a Slick Rick fan. I love the fact that he recently caught a verse in, what was it, West Side Gun? Yo, shout out to Slick Rick, man. Still doing it since the 80s, man. Is anyone else still relevant from the 80s like Slick Rick? I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, this guy goes
tons of rappers.
Jay-Z
from the 80s.
For 84? 84?
Yo, when LL said, I'm older than Jay-Z, I almost died,
80s,
bro.
Man. You said the 80s.
I'm talking about the early 80s, man. I'm talking about
the
85.
80s. You didn't specify what in the 80s. You said the 80s.
Public Enemy, late 80s. But Slick Rick are the oldest. I mean, who else from the early?
KRS-One, Big Daddy Kane.
85? There was not before 85, was it? I never heard
They
of
were
it.
all out at the same time. This album came out in 88. Big Daddy Kane was in one of the videos for this song, The Teenage Love. He was in the video.
The Show and Dougie Fresh came out.
All of these guys were around. They just put out albums later. So all of these guys been around since the early 80s.
And like I said, they're not still relevant. Like Slick Rick, no one's is relevant, more relevant.
Kane is still relevant, sir. KRS-One is still relevant.
LL came after Slick
LL
Rick.
Cool J is still relevant.
They was after.
No, LL came before Slick Rick. LL Cool J was before Slick Rick.
Yeah, LL, you're right. LL was rocking the bells back then. But Slick Rick was definitely L's not relevant though. No one talks about L in hip hop today.
Yo, you saying Slick Rick is relevant? When was the last album Slick Rick put out? Why? He went on one West Side Gun album. He's relevant.
It was dope.
Wait a minute. Yo, Rick is dope. Period.
Yeah, it was dope.
He is dope, but you're making it seem like he's more relevant than anybody else. Like Cool G Rap put out tons of music
compared to LL. Compared to LL,
you were just talking about Slick Rick.
Yeah, compared to go before Slick Rick. There's no one before. You can't compare LL with Slick Rick. I'm sorry.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Stand back,
LL is pretty large out there, man.
LL, listen, I'm not knocking anybody from the 80s. These guys paved the way for the braggadocious style of hip hop that you see today. So Slick, Big Daddy Kane, Rakim is responsible. It's tons of MCs responsible, not just Slick Rick. You know what I'm saying?
They came after Slick Rick.
Hey, you want to know something, Juan? I hate to burst your bubble, but there are some guys that's by the name of Dr. Dre, Ice Cube. They all started in the mid 80s, early 80s, bro.
Still relevant. All right,
Yeah.
Well, I don't know the last time I heard anything from some of these guys.
Man, Slick Rick, man. This album right here, Hey Young World, Teenage Love, and Children's Story. Going back to that one, man. That video, man. Shout out to the director, man. He caught every little thing that Slick Rick said in that video and depicted it on the screen.
Yeah,
like he had that one scene when the guy's like, "Me and you boys gonna make some cash, robbing old folks and making the dash." And then he had the little dude with the water gun shooting at people in the bank robbery. I'm like, yo, that was a hot ass video. Then Young World, that was a banging ass positive song, man. I still play that today. The message in that song, man, was ridiculous, man.
Yeah, it's found its way as a revised hit in some samples in R&B classics I've heard. So yeah. Absolutely.
The album had 5 singles, and not many albums had 5 singles. Yes.
Yeah, even Teenage Love, man. I know you guys remember that one. When he pulled out the gun out the merch on if y'all don't know what a merch is, that's a man purse that he had, a Gucci one, and he was about to pull out the gun on Big Daddy Kane because Big Daddy Kane was messing with his girl. I don't know if you guys remember that in the video.
I remember that.
He pulled out the merch, man. He pulled down the zipper. He wasn't playing.
Not only that, but it was a preface to Slick Rick actually shooting someone and doing time.
Yeah, I think KRS-One brought up a line in one of his songs, man. He's like, and it wasn't. They wound up shooting their cousin. They bugging.
Didn't Slick Rick get deported? How did he make it back? I thought he was deported at one point.
No, he almost got deported. He almost got deported.
He almost did, yes.
But even when he was behind bars, he had put out a joint with Jermaine Dupri, Behind Bars. That was a pretty dope album too that he dropped.
I didn't hear that one.
Yeah, you probably if you hear the joint, you probably know what it is.
But Lottie Dottie, Teenage Love,
Young World,
Young World.
Yeah,
What's your Teenage Love and Children's Story? Those are the 5 singles. Now, why I bring that up is because the album that won actually for the Grammy that year, I don't even think had 3 singles off of it.
Well, Lottie Dottie wasn't on this one.
Yes, it is.
Lottie Dottie was not on this one. No way.
It might have been Don Juan. But do you guys remember the artist who kind of borrowed Slick Rick's style?
Snoop Dogg
also was a part of a guy who's also part of the Can Go crew. He had a similar flow to Slick Rick. Who's that?
Dana Dane.
Dana Dane, yes. So I didn't know who came out with the style first, but I would guess it would have been Slick Rick since coming from London, having that accent. He had to be the originator of that style.
Yeah, they was 80s dudes. Like I said, I'm talking about early 80s before 84. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, before 84, they was like the Fat Boys, Melly Mel, and the Furious Five. There was Whistle,
Dana Dane,
the Only Buggin', Houdini,
Run DMC,
Houdini, right?
Yeah, but Dana Dane and those guys were late 80s, man. Believe it or not, they were like 86, 87.
Bro, they were early. I know because I mean,
Don Juan, Dave and I are from New York, man. We will remember. We were there when those videos debuted. We remember.
Newsflash: Slick Rick is not from New York.
No,
he grew up in New York.
Lottie Dottie
he came up in New York Bronx.
Yeah, look, I'm about to look it up.
The New York label, isn't that?
What are you saying about Lottie Dottie?
I had the album of Lottie Dottie in 1984. I had a record. You know what I'm saying?
Well, no, hold on. Show came before Lottie Dottie, and the show didn't drop until 85.
Yeah.
Right. So it was 80. Right. It was definitely before 84, 80. I'll give you 85 at the latest, but definitely before 85.
Yeah, there were tons of rap groups out before Slick Rick, believe it or not, man. I mean,
yeah, a lot of groups. I'm talking about they're still relevant today. Who's relevant?
But they were behind the big machine of Def Jam, but there were a lot of people that were signed to little white labels that didn't really get the push they were supposed to. But Slick Rick had the machine behind him, man, and Def Jam had the best artists. Run DMC, Slick Rick,
right?
LL Cool J.
Buster's from 1980. He's out. He's got an album out.
82, yeah, 89 with Leaders of the New School. Yeah, man. So shout out to Slick Rick. Next album we have right here, celebrating Anniversary, the 3rd album from Brand Nubians, Everything Is Everything. This was the second Poobaless Brand Nubian album.
And like you said,
yeah, the joints featured on this was Word Is Bond and Holding On, with 2 of the biggest singles off of this one.
And also the reason why Biggie said y'all pick seeds out your weed.
Ooh, explain.
Oh, Biggie's got a song, y'all pick seeds out your weed. That is what Sadat X is doing currently.
It's funny. As soon as you said that, I looked directly at Sadat X and said, damn, he's picking seeds out of the weed right there.
Yes. Wow. That's indication that you're smoking low grade.
Yeah. And I think I brought this up with Don Juan and Architect in a conversation that we had. I was in the chat room in Twitch, man, and almost got infuriated because somebody was showing a Grand Pooba video, and I was like, "Yo, Pooba is on the radar." And somebody put in the comment, "Yeah, Brand Nubians was dope, but Lord Jamar was the wackest one." And I was like, I just don't like people like these. I would put them in the category of vultures who try to tell the hip hop story. Like, you remember Just Ice had a line, "I knew I was there." Like, we know Brand Nubians because we were there. So we knew all of them were equally dope. You know what I'm saying? So for you to make a comment that Lord Jamar is the wackest one, and that comment is only coming from the fact that he was critical of Eminem, that you would make that type of comment.
I don't know. I gotta agree with him.
I don't think he was. I don't think there was anybody in the group that was whack. I mean, of course, Pooba was a standout artist, but you got to remember the 2 albums without Pooba had hits.
Right.
Punk jump up to get beat down, Love Me or Leave Me Alone. You know what I'm saying? And I think Lord Jamar did a lot of production on that. He rhymed on that. He did his thing.
Yeah, if you're looking though for who had the spotlight, maybe that's the angle that they were coming from. He didn't have the spotlight that Grand Puba did.
Correct, but I mean, equally, you won't say anything like Fife was the wackest one in Tribe Called Quest. You wouldn't say something like that.
No. Q-Tip is whacking in Fife.
Now, I wouldn't say anybody is whack back in those groups, man. That's like going to leaders in the new school and saying, "Oh, Buster was nice, but so and so was whack." I mean, Buster was he was a standout artist, but all of them.
If you was to name a group dialect, I'll tell you who's the whack MC of the group.
Like Flavor Flav is the wackest one in the Public Enemy.
Because Chuck D is the only one that rhymes. The rest of the guys just dance. Terminator X and the S1Ws didn't even speak. You know what I'm saying? I don't think Terminator X ever spoke any time. You know what I'm saying? He was just always quiet. S1Ws just danced. Professor Griff had one line in the bass heads. And that was it. So if you ask me, Flavor Flav was the second dopest MC in the crew.
Maybe.
He had 911. That was a joke. 911 was a joke. That was their only hit without Chuck D in it.
Right. Bass heads.
Yeah, but I just got upset because I said to myself, when all of us are dead and gone, and people that remember hip hop when it started, it's gonna be these young people that don't know anything about the past that just go off for like all of these blogs and stuff like that and put out misinformation. You know what I'm saying? I don't think to say Lord Jamar's the wackest one is a dumb statement, man. You know what I'm saying? They were all equally nice. They all did their thing. One for all, Lord Jamar closed out that song and he killed it. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't like these young cats trying to tell the story because, pretty soon it's going to be like Eminem invented hip hop 60 years down the line. That's what people are going to say.
Wait a minute. Dialect. All for one? If you can't say that Sadat X and Grand Puba were superior lyricists compared to Lord Jamar on that song, then I don't know what we can't.
They all killed it. They all killed it. Like, Lord Jamar, he closed out. He had the line, "You got to know the ledge from wise to dumb and understand your culture of freedom, power evenly with the God, and you can build and born your cipher. All your life you must teach truth of a true living God, not a mystery spook." I mean, come on, he was dropping some jewels, man. But you know what? People listen to hip hop with blinders. Well, that's the guy who did Eminem, so he's trash. Nobody gives people a chance, man.
That song. That song we were just talking about.
Foul is a style. That's why you caught a clip. My suitcase is packing. I'm going on a trip to Philadelphia. I go for self and still be slamming. School bell is ringing and I call somebody cramming for a test. Oh yes, my study guy was thick. Okay. That was dope. Cut you with my verbal nick and hurt you just a lick off your face, though. Okay. But they all were equally nice, though, man. They all were equally nice.
All right.
Listen, I know because I got a whole memory. I got a whole library of hip hop lyrics in my head. You know what I'm saying? I could pull them up anytime I want. So
yes, exactly. And I'm not saying Lord Jamar is whack. I'm just saying out of the three.
Yeah, but the comment was like, this guy's trying to say like he was a stain in the group, like he messed the group up. You know what I'm saying? Which was, but like I said, these are the guys who's going to wind up telling the hip hop story when the legends are dead and gone. You know what I'm saying? And we got to, as hip hop purists, we got to make sure we keep that alive. You know what I'm saying? Where people get to know the truth about what it is. Because if it wasn't for cats like Brand Nubians, they were like the starters of the conscious movement in hip hop. Brand Nubian.
But let me to give the audience some sort of detail on how you're ranking these MCs. Would you say all three members of Onyx were as equally as talented?
No, but at the end of the day, as a collective, as a group, they were dope. Like Sonny C's, he was not the standout member, but he had the joint. Heads up, because we dropping some shit. That's the most sampled line out of any Onyx song. You know what I'm saying? So they all played their part.
Okay, I hear you. I got you.
Yeah, he was on Last Day. Sonny C's had the joint. My man, Big Ty, he know how to get by. Everybody did their thing, man. It wasn't like I give everybody their credit, man. Like what Enyoutee said, man. He doesn't hate on anybody. But I'm saying, like, you got people telling the story now who are these microwave hip hop fans. They go on Wikipedia, they read a paragraph or two, they skim through a song on Tidal and think they know everything about hip hop. Back in the day, we had tapes. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't pause. You had to listen to the entire album to really get to understand how dope the shit was. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying we got to be the ones telling the story, you know, and passing it on to the younger generations so it lives on, man.
Yeah,
I'm afraid 100 years from now, you know, we're gonna build a time machine and they're gonna be like, Eminem was the founder of hip hop, and the Beastie Boys were the biggest seller. You know, I just fear that's gonna happen, or they're gonna be like, you know, Lil Wayne was a lyrical genius. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just worry about those things. You know,
they're saying it now, though, dialect. So
correct. That's what I'm trying to say, and they're gonna be like, you know, people like Melly Mel were whack, and it's like, you know, you don't want that to happen. You know what I'm saying? You want the white people controlling this. You know what I'm saying? I remember when I took a hip hop class in Brooklyn College, and the professor, he got in the hip hop section. I was ready. I was like, okay, finally, he's going to talk about hip hop. Then he goes, Brooklyn rapper Nas. I got up and walked out the class, man. I was like, you should not be qualified to teach anybody about no damn hip hop. You talking about Brooklyn rapper Nas because he was born in Brooklyn, but everybody knows he rep Queens.
So what are you going to do with Drake? What category are you going to put him in?
Listen, you got to put Drake down in hip hop history, but I'm saying the foundation of hip hop, the Kool Hercs, the DJ Hollywoods, the Melly Mels, the Grandmaster Caz, who actually penned the first hip hop hit, which was Sugar Hill Gang's Rapper's Delight, but he never got the credit for it. You know what I'm saying? People still need to tell those stories. You know what I'm saying? So hip hop lives on, so people know about the pioneers, the ones that, you know, put their blood, sweat, and tears on the line and never got the financial credit. You know what I'm saying? We need to remember these people. You know what I'm saying? We need to remember the Lord Jamal. I mean, those people that dissing Lord Jamal probably don't even know who Grand Puba is. Probably don't even know he had solo albums. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying we just need.
I agree with you. We need to have some credentials and who's emitting opinions on the culture.
Exactly.
I agree tremendously.
And I think. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say I got my hip hop card. You have yours. Don Juan has his. So as long as we are admitting the truth and good facts, we should be straight and the culture should be fine.
Correct. And like, you know, there's one guy in particular, I think, you know, everybody's boycotting him. I won't name him, but he made a comment like Nas picks horrible beats. And everybody's been saying that, like, yeah, Nas is good, but he picks bad beats. I'm like, no, that's a myth. You know what I'm saying? Nas doesn't pick the best beats, but he had pretty decent albums. You know, not all his beats are fire, but he's not a bad beat picker. But I'm saying these are the guys allowed to tell the story, and people go around regurgitating those same lies. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I said I'm glad this individual, people are not really giving him the credibility anymore like that he should be getting. So I'm just saying it needs to be hip hop purists telling our story.
Right.
Hey, as long as we got Don Juan saying that Slick Rick came out in 1980, we'll be all right.
Yeah, well, yeah, early 80s, right.
According to Don Juan, Slick Rick invented hip hop.
That's right.
Well, yeah.
Slick Rick did one feature on West Side Guns album. He has the biggest comeback of 2020.
Hey, guys are hating on Griselda, man. You know Griselda's taking over New York City hip hop, man. Don't be mad. You mad?
Yeah, but we've been hearing Coogee rap for years. Jay-Z rap for years. Slick Rick does one feature on West Side Gun album, and you're like, wow, he's still relevant.
Where they hit it?
We ain't hear from Slick Rick in almost 20 years.
I ain't heard G-Rap in like 20 years. I don't think I've heard.
G-Rap put out an album with 38 Special like 2 years ago.
Okay.
G-Rap is still putting out stuff.
All right.
Yeah, man, do your homework, Nawan.
I'm just saying it ain't relevant.
Next album right here. I mean, I know I made a comment about this guy. Lil Wayne released his debut album back in 1999. The Block is Hot. Like I said, I know I made a comment earlier. It wasn't an insult to Lil Wayne. I actually think Lil Wayne is a dope lyricist.
I don't.
I think I'll say decent to me.
Now, I want to get off topic real quick.
Immature.
I want to talk about Architect real quick. Do you think Architect is not here because of the Donald Trump laws?
Probably. He's probably licking his wounds, crying.
Oh, man.
Over there crying over there, talking about boo-hoo.
I think he just responded. No, that was you. Yeah, but
now it's trash.
Lil Wayne, overrated. I think we did an overrated segment about a week or so ago. He's still in my overrated MCs.
No, I would just say this, man. As far as like when I remember New Orleans, when you thought about New Orleans, you thought about No Limit, and I had liked No Limit, but I felt like when Cash Money came out, all four guys in that crew, I thought they all had lyrics. whether it was Turk, Juvenile, BG, and Lil Wayne. I believe what Baby put together with these 4 MCs was a dope collective, and he did the right thing by pushing Lil Wayne, man. Because I mean, at 14 years old,
He was dope.
he was killing it, man.
He was the dopest
Yeah,
one, all of them, in my opinion, back then.
Nah, they were all equally dope. A lot of them just had legal troubles. BG had legal troubles. Turk had legal troubles, and Juvenile, I think he left the label because of like just he had issues with them. But Juvenile was their standout artist. When they had that song "Ha" that came out back in the day, I thought that shit was creative as hell, man.
Back that ass up.
And the remix with Jay-Z.
Yeah, then he had Back That Ass Up. Yeah, but I mean, Lil Wayne, man, shout out to him. He's been doing his thing. He's probably licking his wounds because if Trump loses,
But look,
he was Trump's most recent supporter.
That's what made me think about Architect.
yeah, right. Look how young he is here in this picture. And like you're right, Dialect. I mean, he was a teenager back then in these days, and
He had a kid too back then.
had a kid. He actually had a decent looking face. Pause.
Whoa.
Just had breast augmentation, so you should really give her a shout.
Who's that?
Ray Janae, I believe her name is.
Oh, that's the daughter.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's the first child.
You said she had a augmentation?
Say again.
You said she had a what?
Breast augmentation.
A breast. Oh, okay. She's that old now, I guess. Okay.
Okay, next album celebrating an anniversary. This is the second album released by Jay-Z, In My Lifetime, Volume 1. And I know people say Reasonable Doubt was one of his greatest albums, which it was, but this album right here was fire, man. From us, was it Streets Is Watching, Friend the Foe, Where I'm From, Sunshine. This album right here was Jay-Z letting the world know that, he's coming to take over the game right here.
You think?
I thought it was one of his weakest albums.
I think Blueprint was an announcement.
No, wasn't this the joint with a Hard Knock Life on it? Or was that Volume 2?
That's Volume 2. Yeah,
This one was dope, man.
Well, this is the album that was like out of Jay-Z's 10 albums at the time. This was the only one at that time that hadn't gone platinum. I think this was Streets Is Walking was one of Jay-Z's weakest albums.
Streets Is Watching was a soundtrack.
That's correct. It was a movie.
Yeah, it was a movie soundtrack. But this joint had some bangers on it though, man. Where I'm From, that's crazy, man. That beat, the rhymes he had on that, man.
Where I'm From is on Streets Is Watching.
No, I don't think it's on. I think Where I'm From is on this one right here. Streets Is Watching had what it had on it, man. It didn't have Streets Is Watching, the song Streets Is Watching. I know that for a fact.
Where I'm From, Marcy's Son is not on Streets Is Watching?
It had Sunshine.
No, it's on this album. It's on this album. And the song Streets Is Watching is on this too. When the streets is watching, cop keep clocking, waiting for you to break, make your first mistake. It's on this. And the original Friend the Foe is on this joint.
Oh, that's when he said you got to get the National Guards to come get me. That was a great song.
Yeah, but they used some of the songs from this album in the Streets Is Watching movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like when he went up into the guy's room and he was singing Friend the Foe and he shot the dude in the stomach.
And he did Where I'm From for that movie.
That's a Brooklyn song right there, man.
Yeah, it definitely is. One of my favorites. Maybe I'm not from Brooklyn, but now one of my favorite albums from Jay-Z.
How about Imaginary Players?
I think that's on this album too.
Okay.
The joint with Babyface, I believe, is on this one. Sunshine.
That's not Babyface.
Yep, that's Babyface.
So which one did Blackstreet do?
You Belong to the City. Okay. The City Is Mine. I think The City Is Mine is on. Nah, that's on Reasonable Doubt. That's on Reasonable Doubt. And this right here, Rakim released his debut solo album, The 18th Letter, back in, I believe, I want to say 1997.
I believe it's 98, but either
98.
one.
Either one, yeah. This was a dope album. It was pretty much all Eric B and Rakim albums were pretty much Rakim. You know what I'm saying? I mean, sometimes back in the day when you used to hear like the DJ, used to be like, yo, what did the DJ really do? But yeah, shout out to Rakim, man.
I used to think that Eric B was Rakim and Rakim was Eric B.
You know, it's funny. Like when you mentioned that to me, I know Dave probably remembers B-Cat. B-Cat had this show called Kevin Keefe and the Dirty Dozen, and they had Eric B had put out a solo album back in the day, and they bought the vinyl, and they were looking at like, yo, son, I got that new Eric B. Let's go play it. Let's go play with this new Eric B. They was like, yo, he rhyme. He put out a solo album. They said, yeah, let's go outside and play it. And they were throwing that joint around like a frisbee, man. I said the level of disrespect, man. I was like, they were just flinging it around.
That's hilarious.
Huh? But yeah, man, shout out to Eric B, man. Eric B and Rakim was a dope crew, man. But I always felt like Rakim definitely.
They said, that joke? Wait a minute, yeah. They said let's go outside and play it. They started throwing it around like a disc.
Yeah. And like I said, I don't know anybody that listened to the album. I just know people would just look at it and marvel at it. It was like, yo, Eric B rhymes? You didn't know what Eric B. I didn't even know what Eric B sounded like until recently when he did interviews. I was like, okay, that's how he sounds.
Do you think the MC DJ marriage is completely divorced?
I think back then you needed a DJ to legitimize you. Because you remember it was DJ rapping, Coogee rapping, DJ Polo and Coogee rap. It was Eric B and Rakim.
Terminator.
DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince.
Yep.
You know, it's like there was, but
yeah. Dr. Dre was
correct. If you're a DJ, if you didn't get into producing, you pretty much got lost in the
correct. Path. But I felt like, you know, a lot of the DJs back then produced, you know what I'm saying? But coming to find out, I really was trying to figure out, you know, Eric B's role, because you would look at the video and it'd be Eric B and Rakim. And some people like me, I thought Eric B was Rakim. You know what I'm saying? Because that's all I used to hear in the songs was just Rakim rhyming.
Right.
This was like his first solo effort, man. But I thought it was a cool album, man. He had some joints on this.
What I love the single, but that's as far as I got.
Yeah. But I think, you know, I don't know what it is, man. Maybe he just needs to be Eric B and Rakim again. For us to really, maybe they need to put out another Eric B and Rakim album.
No, his lexicon, his whatever he's deciding to discuss is not what these kids want to hear today, and that's sad.
Yeah, I think when he came out with this album, that's a good point, Dave. Hip hop had changed drastically. You know what I'm saying? It was the shiny suit era. The only people that got a pass commercially with being super lyrical was Wu-Tang Clan. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else that was making money had to be on that Puffy and Mace vibe. So when he came out, it wasn't like, you know, it was the same old Rakim, but music had changed by then. Yes. Maybe if he had did an album produced by the RZA, maybe that would have been a better move.
Yes. Well, he tried something with Kanye West and Nas, and it just it didn't jump off the page like you thought the names Kanye West, Nas, and Rakim would.
Yeah. But it's funny, like they all came up in the same era. Big Daddy Kane was big in 88. Rakim was big in 88. Jay-Z was out in 88 and he wasn't that big. But Jay-Z 10 years later is running the game.
Yeah. 20.
And then, you know, and then these guys, you know, it's like nobody was checking for them. I think, you know, Jay-Z, you know, he did the right thing. He went along with the time.
Absolutely. And not only that, he also he came in during a time where age wasn't a big deal. You understand? Right. I mean, him coming out, dropping his first album at the age of 26 would have been frowned upon prior to that because everybody else was young.
Yeah, because when you actually listen to these guys in interviews like Rakim, and you realize Rakim was 16 when he was putting out some of these songs. LL Cool J was like 16. So that's why Jay-Z is older than some of those guys.
But did you see the interview where LL discussed him and Jay-Z's beef?
No. Give me a quick brief.
It's very quick. LL said that him and Jay-Z are around the same age. Jay is like a year younger than him. They were coming up at the same time. They were at this show where there was a rap battle, and Jay-Z rapped, and LL was like, "Yo, that's not it, man." And Jay-Z never was cool with him ever since then.
Let me tell you something.
Never was cool with him? What?
He never was cool with him again after he said, you know, that at the rap battle that wasn't it. And again, it took Jay-Z 10 years from LL telling him that's not it for him to pop.
And you know what's funny? It's like, I don't know how it is in Queens. I can't speak for a Queens person. I can't speak for somebody from the Bronx, but I can speak for somebody from Brooklyn. If people from Brooklyn, we react to this is better than we do compliments. if LL had told Jay-Z back then, yo, son, you nice, we probably wouldn't have had the same Jay-Z 10 years later. But the fact LL telling him that's not it, he's like, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna be your boss too. Jay-Z wound up being his boss at one point. You know what I'm saying? So
yes, and that's probably why LL left Def Jam. But to your point, I remember somebody saying that they enjoyed Jay-Z music. I think it was myself, and the reply was, I didn't know he was on my Johnson like that. So that's the kind of individual he was. Yeah, maybe he is, and still to this day. So you're right. Paying him a compliment might have been more insulting than LL saying that rhyme wasn't it.
Like I said, it's just a Brooklyn thing. You underestimate somebody from Brooklyn, they're gonna be like, I'm gonna show you, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, Michael Jordan was born in Brooklyn.
That's right.
He's been underestimated his whole life. You know what I'm saying? He didn't make his varsity team right away. He didn't get drafted number 1 or number 2. He got drafted number 3. People doubted him as just a fancy player. And what he does, man, he wins 3 in a row. He takes time off. They say Jordan ain't got it. He comes back again and wins 3 more. And people may be like, well, he grew up in North Carolina. Well, he was born in Brooklyn. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. Mike Tyson, people used to pick on him. So what he started doing, he's like, yo, I'm not even going to waste time when I fight. I'm going to knock you out in 10 seconds and go have a snack after that. Go party after that. That's how good I'm going to be.
That's it.
So let's remember that. You meet a guy from Brooklyn, don't insult him. He told Jay-Z that ain't it. So when LL was putting out, who do you love? Jay-Z was coming out with fire.
He's talking about, LL's talking about 1987. 88.
Yeah.
That battle occurred because according to LL, Jay-Z's only 1 year younger than him.
What did LL do back in 2000? By the time 2000 hit, Jay-Z was king.
Yeah, and but he had already been in the game for 20 years.
Yeah. And LL was putting out joints like, they call me Big Ellie. You were like, yo, what's going on with LL right here, man? Yeah, man. But shout out to Jay. Shout out to Rakim.
Yes.
Next anniversary, man. The movie Belly was released in October of 1998, if I'm correct. Or 1990. Dave, you probably know better than me. Either 98 or 99, right?
99 sounds about right because DMX was didn't drop into 98. So for him to garner some fame to be on the Belly, the Hype Williams vehicle, yes, I would have to say that 99.
Yeah, how did you guys feel about this movie when it came out?
Great soundtrack, a little sketchy in the story. Cinematic wise, I thought it was a little lacking. Location wise, I thought it was lacking. But like I said, the music was a great music video, and that's what Hype Williams was famous for.
I was gonna say I thought it was thematically, I thought it was great because it was a music video that was a feature-length film, which was dope.
Yo, highlighted the movie. I don't know if this was Hype Williams taking a shot at the South when he had Tyron Turner from Menace to Society rocking a long wig, and he had some glasses on. When I forgot what, then they went to Nebraska, and he had on a long wig and some bifocal glasses, and he was eating on a banana.
I don't like
he's like, I don't like that shit. I don't like that shit. I just thought that was disrespectful to Nebraska because I don't think Nebraska thugs was looking like that back in the day. I think that was Hype Williams kind of taking a shot at out of Thomas.
Nah, I believe that if you go to towns like Nebraska, every hood got some people. Like, for example, you come to Dallas, Texas, and you see like the hood brothers out there. They got these what they call the doobies. It's like a haircut, and it looks like an egg-shaped haircut. And it's like the West Coast. You can't laugh at the dude with the crazy Jerry curl. In some of these neighborhoods, you can't. Those are the wild out dudes in those towns. Just never know.
I thought DMX had a breakout performance on that. Nas, was pretty much Nas in the movie. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like any big acting coming out of Nas or T-Boz. I remember there was one scene when Nas was like, yo, T, I think we need to go back to Africa. I was like, yo, that was random. Then she turns around and goes, Africa's far. Like they was going to take a boat there or some shit.
The acting was horrible, man. Let's be real.
Yo, but the best scene in that movie, I think, me being the film buff that I am, was the scene when DMX was with the two young dudes and he was amping them up. I think one of them was Stan Smith, who used to run a camera back in the day. And he was like, yo, you gonna let him talk to you like that? And then the guy was like, "Yo, man, when the Brooklyn niggas came at you, you was crying like a bitch." Then the camera just kept going around them while DMX was hyping it up. And the dude, I think it was the dude pulled out the gun and shot Stan Spit. And I was like, yo, that was a dope scene, man.
Yeah.
And shout out to Terrell Hicks, man. That was like her only movie. After that, that was it for the chick from A Bronx Tale that played DMX interest. Yeah, man. Shout out to her in that movie. She was looking real good in that.
Bronx Tale, yeah. Oh, that was dope. Yo, big shout out to Ock too, man. Rest in peace to Ock, man. Ock was my favorite character in that movie.
Oh yeah, man. I forgot about Louis Rankin, man. Louis Rankin, he stole that movie, man. He did his thing in that movie, man. He went out like Scarface at the end, man.
Absolutely. That's my man in that movie.
Yeah, they ripped that scene off of Scarface, but they did a good job flipping it. All right, next album celebrating the anniversary was Q-Tip's second solo album released in 2008, The Renaissance. Dope album cover. I mean, I remember some joints off of this. I don't know if you guys do. My favorite joint off of this one was Move and Get It Up. Pause. That was a good one. And the last album celebrating the anniversary was Tupac's. This actually wasn't his final album because he probably put out 20 albums after this. But I think this was the final album that he recorded when he was alive, I believe. And he went by the name of Machiavelli. And I think that was his outlaw name because, all of the outlaws had names like Mussolini, Idi Amin, Gaddafi. So he went by Machiavelli. And this was Don Columinati. Joints on this was Hail Mary, Toss It Up. And he did some joints with the outlaws on this too, man. So that's it for album anniversaries.
Well, you mentioned Tyron Turner.
Yeah.
He's on this season, this current season of Fargo with Chris Rock.
Ooh.
And he quoted Machiavelli. He said, Machiavelli says, he says to the Italian guy, if you want to be able to give orders, you must learn to take orders. And it's supposed to have been a Machiavelli quote of some sort. I might be butchering it, but yeah, I thought that was interesting in sort of time-wise.
And that's an interesting show because I think I watched 2 episodes on Hulu. Where was that? Are you familiar with the first season, with the first episodes where the Italians and the Jewish gangsters were cutting their hand and shaking with people? Is that something that's really done?
They do what?
Like the gangsters, they will cut their hand and make it bleed and then shake each other's hand to like seal a deal. And then give away their firstborn to the competitor and they'll take their firstborn kid.
That is a unique aspect. The cutting of the hands, I only seen on the television shows as an indication of a
blood brother,
a person being made. They would cut his hand and burn a saint in their hand. But I never seen them with outsiders, that being a seal of a deal.
Correct. And then also I realized they were like the Italians and the Jewish gangsters. The Jewish gangster will have his firstborn son stay with the Italian gangster and vice versa. I noticed that like Chris Rock's son had to stay with the Italian family.
Yes.
And the Italian family son. Is that something that was true? Because I looked at it, I thought that was very interesting.
I had never heard no such thing as that occur.
Yeah, but it seems like a good show though.
In the enemy's home.
That exactly. That's like, because if anything goes down, but I guess it's a safe. It's a way to be safe because like if I kill his kid, he has my kid.
Yes, but if he kills my kid, I have his kid. I got to kill his kid.
Yeah, it just seemed weird to me, but I found it interesting though. I thought Chris Rock was doing a good job in that. I'm definitely gonna go back and watch the rest of the shows that I missed. But it's a good show. Now, especially since you told me Tyron Turner is in it. So is he rocking a perm too, like in the belly?
Oh, his name is Doc. He's an older man. He's like Chris Rock's consigliere in the order of their gangster hierarchy. And I enjoy it. Chris Rock had a scene where he's arguing with the woman that plays his wife on the show, and he really lays down the law. That's the first time I've ever seen Chris Rock really be boisterous and demanding in a scene, and he pulled it off.
Yeah, and I think too, also, if I'm not mistaken, from what I saw in the first couple of episodes, he has a kid with another woman, right?
I didn't see that.
And I think the mom is remarried to somebody else who's like she's married to a white guy. and they're raising his daughter.
That's his daughter.
I believe so. That's what I got from it when I watched the first
know her
episode.
sister robs his club.
Oh, don't tell me you're giving away too much. I only saw episode one.
Okay. All right. Yes.
Yeah, but I gotta keep watching. It was a good show. So go ahead, Dave.
No, I was just gonna say tonight seemed quiet in the comment section. I think everybody is apolitical and a little gun shy on voicing their opinion. But I like them to know that HipHopCitizen accept all conservative, liberals, neos, all of them. So next week, hopefully, we'll have this all settled, and everyone will know who their president is, and we can all become friends once again and unite the country.
And Dave, I'd be remiss in dialect if we didn't give a big shout out and rest in peace to King Von, who sadly lost his life today at a very, very young age.
Yeah,
I personally am not as familiar with King Von as I am with Slick Rick, perhaps. But what say you, Dave? Are you familiar with King Von?
I heard a couple of tracks. He has a unique flow. I didn't see him as a gangster, but I'm learning something new about him. That he did have some sort of a bad streak in his behavior, and I don't know who Quando Wando is really.
Yeah,
that's supposed to be the alleged individual that they were arguing with and fighting with that led to the gunfire. So the culture could have lost two talent individuals if there are fans that see Quando Wando and King Von as talent.
Yeah, and also I believe it took place in Atlanta.
Yes, and he's not from there. He's from
Chicago. Yeah, I think along with is it Lil Durk too? But I know Lil Durk is also in. He's a Chicago rapper, but he's also in the Atlanta area as well. Were they affiliated?
Yeah, they are.
I think King Von is on Lil Durk label.
Okay, yeah, that's probably why he was in Atlanta. Cause I know Lil Durk. Like when I watched the news, I seen an article come up about Lil Durk, so I know he's in the area as well. Yeah, R.I.P. to the young brother, man. It's very unfortunate, man. We as artists, as people, we just can't, walk away sometimes. You know what I'm saying? You have a little issue with somebody and say, hey, man, no. Sometimes it doesn't hurt to just say, hey, man, just let me just step back, man. It's like when you watch all these things happen, man, it's like it's heartbreaking. When you go back to the Troy Ave incident in Brooklyn, you know what I'm saying? It's like these things just breaks your heart, man. Proof is another guy, Proof, that was down with Eminem. He died in a similar fashion like that too. So it's like, it's real sad, man, especially when you see a young talent like that.
The crazy
kids too.
They were fighting with each other and firing shots at each other, and then the law enforcement got involved, and they were shooting at them all. So
yeah,
you don't want to create this a situation where you can become a target just for nothing.
Yeah, and I realized this. Like, I don't know if they do this in New York, but in the South, I realized, like, even when you saw with in other states, like the George Floyd thing, a lot of off-duty cops work in clubs now.
Yeah, they do.
And they go in there with the security they do. They use the same police tactics. You know what I'm saying? It's a gun involved. They're shooting to kill. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
yep. In Texas a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's outlawed in New York. I don't think you can.
It's in there with DC. I think they do it in DC. You can't be undercover. Yeah, there's rules, but in Texas, it's free game.
What's the word? You can't.
You can't be acting. You got to be uniformed or something like that.
You can't moonlight with your firearm.
Correct. I think that's what it's like. But I realize out here that's something that they do.
Yeah, right. In the South, yeah, they do it in Texas too.
Because if I'm not mistaken, George Floyd was a bouncer in the club. The same off-duty, the same cop that killed him worked in the same club too, like moonlighted as a security officer as well.
But in New York, you can moonlight with your firearm if you're doing personal security, like say for an individual that owns a diamond shop or something like that that uses a lot of money. I believe you can use your service weapon to moonlight then.
Yeah. All right, so RIP to King Von, and all the other people that lost their life. I would believe it was earlier today, or no, yesterday, because we're in the next day right now. And I'd like to thank DJ Enyoutee for calling in. That was a pretty dope interview, man.
And it was shaky in the
story. What's that?
It was shaky in the beginning.
Yeah, but he had a good story, man. I think it could be a movie if you ask me, man. It's an interesting story, man.
Yeah.
Especially I was really happy with the artist that he was working with, how he turned his life around, and he's using his platform to kind of help people that's behind the bars too. Because I know that those visits once a week does a lot for them,
That's right. And far too often we don't talk enough about those behind bars. We talk a lot about what's going on in the free world. But let's not forget about our brothers and sisters, man. And helping some of them get the help they need too as well.
Yeah.
Quite often it's out of sight, out of mind when it comes to that situation. And you're right. We should have them more in our hearts and on our voices and on our minds.
Yeah. So, all right, guys, we're going to close out tonight.
Well, Dialect, are you going to drop another Hot 16 for us before we go?
Not right now. Not right now.
Okay, fair enough.
I probably try to do it once a month. Once a month, I try to hit you with something.
Did you do November already? I don't think so.
I did October. November, we still in November. It just started.
Very good. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us tonight. I appreciate you joining us, and I hope you watch the broadcast or replays on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook.
And Periscope.
And Periscope. Thank you.
Yeah, you can find me at Dialect718, Instagram and Twitter. And you can also find me on Facebook or HipHopCitizen.
And of course, Don Winding Mac on Instagram, IG, and anywhere HipHopCitizen is. Just hashtag HipHopCitizen.
Well, where do I start? It's David E. Simon on Twitter. It's the David Simon Show on Instagram. And it's David Simonism on Facebook. Holla at me.
And one quick thing. I know, Dave, you're an SNL fan. And when the last time Dave Chappelle was on SNL was after Trump won the election. Now, since we're, indecisive right now, do you think it will be just as good as the first appearance that he had?
It'll be better.
I think it'll be better. I think it'd be better too. A lot of jokes in this right now about Trump.
I like to see Dave Chappelle on there with Alec Baldwin doing Trump and how they work that in, and Jim Carrey doing Joe Biden, which I think is even better than Alec Baldwin's Trump.
I agree. I hope he's a regular. I hope Carrey becomes a regular.
Oh, Jim Carrey is hilarious when he does it. Come on, man. I was like, yo, Biden does that all the time, man. It's like so spot on, man. I remember he had one scene where Biden was just rambling for like 20 minutes. I just thought it was hilarious, man. So it should be a good show. Y'all should check it out. 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. SNL, hosted by Dave Chappelle.
And guest the Foo Fighters.
Interesting. They could have put him with another hip hop group, I think.
Well, you want to know something? I think Dave Chappelle is going to get the black audience. You need something to draw some Caucasians to watch.
Yeah, and shout out to Ice Cube for giving SNL a piece of his mind for Kenan Thompson and whatever that guy's name,
Chris Red.
A weak spoof for him and Lil Wayne.
It wasn't a weak spoof. I believe that For the Love of Money is the reason why Lil Wayne went up there shaking hands with Donald Trump for his tax breaks. And I think Ice Cube wants his platinum plan to exist, and he would take a meeting with the devil if he can make that happen. So,
what's funny? Not to keep you out, but Roland Martin, he said, I kind of agree with him on this. He said, Ice Cube should have known better. $500 billion. Do you really think Trump is going to do that? And I had to say to myself, damn, that is a valid point. I don't see Trump giving no $500 billion to help the black community start any businesses.
Well, he had 3.7 trillion. Shit.
He gave corporations a $2 trillion. You're absolutely correct.
Corporate welfare.
So you guys think Trump was gonna
no
to his promise to Ice Cube? Yeah, when I really thought about the amount
over his 4 years, maybe, but not in one lump sum.
Agreed. All right, y'all. Thank you for tuning in. God bless.